Hello and welcome to Ghostlight RPGs. We're here as a collective of role-playing game players, and usually we're a collective of theater artists keeping the lamp lit while the theaters are dark. However, we are joined tonight by some amazing guests who might be some of the things, but also we're just very excited to be playing through this campaign of Rising Shadows, which is an Adventurers League storyline published by Baldman Games. And we are going to be continuing our story tonight with our excellent guests. And this stream is going to support Jasper's Game Day. If you don't know about Jasper's Game Day, they are a charity who are raising funds for suicide awareness and prevention, one of the most excellent game-related charities, and we're just so glad to be sending some support their way. So if you can give, please do. Please give generously. As you give tonight, you can influence the game by granting our players inspiration. You can also have things from other worlds kind of come in and influence the game. Magic Surge from the Feywild, a monster from the Shadowfell, other such things. In order to look at all of those cool ways to jump in and affect things, you can check out that link that we just put in the chat. My name is Graham Ward. My pronouns are he, him. And I am going to be your dungeon master this evening. Very excited and honored to be here. You can find me online at Darkplane DM. I spend some time on Twitter, depending on how rowdy my children / warlock patrons are being. Anyway, I will pass things along, and we'll just kind of introduce ourselves and talk a little bit about what you do. And and you could mention who you're playing, but we'll save character introductions for the game. So I'm going to pass to Andy Demps.
Hi there. My name's Andy Demps, he, him. I work at Elderwood Academy and have had the fortune to write a few AL adventures, including a couple set in the Moonchase. So when Graham said that he was getting this together, I was very happy to jump in. And I will pass it to Ginny, who I had the fortune of working on a project with recently.
Yay! Thanks, Andy. I am Ginny Loveday, she, her. I think I do this differently every single week, so sorry. I do a bunch of stuff for Baldman Games, including a bunch of their community stuff, managing our Twitch, which you should follow over at Baldman_games. Written some adventures. I think my most recent adventure is still the one I did with you, Andy, and then you got conscripted to write another one directly after that. Braver than I am. But I am currently working on some really cool stuff for Steamforged Games, and I'll be at GaryCon. You can find me at Ginny Loveday on all the things. GINNY. Yeah, let's pass it to Ayana.
Hi everyone, I'm Ayana, she, her, and I don't do the social medias, so sorry. I do, but I don't. But I have had the privilege of writing with several people right here, and I've also written some Moonshade adventures, and I'm very excited to be playing tonight for an awesome cause, and I'm going to pass it to Sean.
Hey everyone, hello humans. I'm Sean Banerjee, they, them. You can find me most places at Sean Banerjee. I don't know why people are laughing at me already. I haven't said anything very dumb yet, which I will. I'm best known for being very awkward, and also I write some stuff and I design some things, and some of them are for Adventurers League and some of them are for not Adventurers League, and I've gotten to work with most of these beautiful people, and I'm going to collect the rest of them soon. So, and I'm going to pass it to B.
Well, my favorite greeting, much similar to yours, is to greet all of the humans. Hello, I'm your non-binary busy bee. You can find me on Twitter as @B_Zelda. I am a podcaster. I'm a member of the Broadswords. I host Anime Attaché. I'm a player in Iron Edda, etc., etc. I'm also a prolific TTRPG streamer. You'd have to look at my Twitter schedule because I don't know what I do. As well as I am the community manager for D&D Adventures League. But do not rely on me for some fun facts or information because I just am fun and good at social media, not rules.
Thank you so much, all of you. Really, really glad that each of you are here. It's just such an honor to have you playing this adventure. Yeah, for those who don't know about Adventurers League, it is an organized play program for Dungeons and Dragons. If you want to jump in, either learn how to play, or if you don't get time to play very often and you want to port your character from table to table as you travel around the world, like a wonderful scamp like I have been in the past, you can play as the organized play program, and like rewards and house rules and all that stuff is centrally organized and allows everybody to have kind of a uniform experience that you can share with lots and lots of people all around the world. So this adventure is part of the Adventurers League program that is run by, Dungeons & Dragons runs the program. There's a premier partner called Baldman Games, and they publish this adventure. Tonight we'll be playing Moon 16-2. They all have wonderful codes. And the name of this adventure is Procession of the Sage, which is a title I love because I love Stravinsky. It's one of those deep references.
This whole trilogy was a musical reference, and I loved it.
Yes. So for our adventure tonight, we have a little bit of a content warning. This adventure does involve some elements of despair, as well as light references to body horror. But we're not going to be gratuitous, and our intent is to keep everybody safe and comfortable. If either of those things, may affect you, take care of yourself. We do not judge or feel sad. Let me give a couple more acknowledgments before we get started, and that is that the music that you hear tonight, some of it is composed by one of our wonderful friends, Ted Bushman, who is kind of becoming a resident composer for our streams, also an author, GM. He GMs our show, The Contraband, which is our Blades in the Dark actual play that we run with 6 Shakespeare actors. And so if you're interested in the music, this music you're hearing right now is Kevin MacLeod, who we also will acknowledge and love. Kevin MacLeod is the best friend of all independent creatives everywhere. You will also see some art in this stream. The maps are done by Matt Town. His map will definitely be appearing. You might also see some maps by Afternoon Maps, Neutral Party, Dice Grimorium, and you will be seeing art by Sarah Stober, as well as potentially some cartographic elements by Sarah Shaw. So the adventure is written by Justine Vandermeer. I'm sorry, this adventure is written by Marina Desmarais. My bad. I was working on a different adventure earlier today. But anyway, thank you so much for the work that everyone has done on the stream. And we're gonna try to have the best time with it humanly possible. So without further ado, let us begin tonight's session of Rising Shadows. Hello, everyone. Thank you. We are now going to begin our session. For those who maybe haven't caught all of our previous episodes, let me give us a little bit of an orientation here. We are playing in the Moonshae Isles, which is an area just west of the Sword Coast. These are islands where many, many groups of diverse peoples, including fey creatures, humans of various kind of ethnic migrations and settlement patterns, have arrived in the Moonshaes at different periods of time, and they're all kind of coexisting in this set of islands. The Moonshaes are an embodiment of what some believe to be a divine being named the Earth Mother, and the Earth Mother has moonwells, which are sacred spaces where water pools and becomes kind of a conduit to the Earth Mother's power. And in recent days, months, the moonwells have become corrupted. So we've seen over our adventures several groups encountering shadow creatures pouring in from the Shadowfell. And all of your characters would be aware that this is happening, that the Shadowfell forces such as Allips, which are kind of like these strange mind-twisting shadows. You've also seen lycanthropes, who seem to be afflicted by something that affects not only humanoids, but fey creatures as well. And the fey creatures are affected much more drastically by the howling disease. All of this is coming from the Shadowfell and pouring out through the Moonwells themselves. And in response to this corruption, you have been gathered by a group called the Initiates of the Flame. They are heavily influenced by High Queen Kefri. High Queen Kefri was saved by our player character Michelle, as well as some other adventurers, in our very first session. And her court was overtaken by these Shadowfell forces, led by a being known as the Slain, kind of a mysterious entity. And High Queen Kefri went into hiding up in the north, in the island of Norheim. And so, as High Queen Kefri has been kind of in exile, plotting a way to reclaim the lands of her husband, who is actually the kind of direct heir of that throne, she has been working with the Initiates of the Flame and gathered all of you. Your goal is to determine if you can find a special moon spirit, something that existed very, very anciently and seems to have left the Moonshaes. They're called a Swan May. Swan Mays were a certain type of lycanthrope that were good. They were very wholesome, healing spirits, and they could transform into swans. And all of this was kind of explained to you. You might have some of your own arcane or historical knowledge you can bring to the table. But you have arrived at the site where the sages believe the last Swan May was buried. And unfortunately, as you look around in the hills and cliffsides along this riverbank, the bank of the Swan May River, you find absolutely no sign of the tomb. And so, it is with that your guide from the Initiates of the Flame, Gorm Gudbranson, maybe you've spent an hour or so looking around, rooting for the entrance, and are pretty satisfied that there's nothing left to uncover without taking further steps. Gorm says, "Well, I'm very disappointed that we haven't been able to find this entrance. I cannot venture with you any further into the Dernal Forest. As you know, the shadow is growing in there, and I have other people that I need to work with, other agents who are seeking to cure the Moonwells. What I can tell you is I have a stack of research that was provided by 2 sages," and he'll hand this to, let's say, he'll hand it to Karan, who I believe has been working with the Initiates of the Flame specifically as a spy. So why don't you go ahead, Sean, and tell us what people notice about Karan?
Yeah, Karan is a gem dragonborn. It's an emerald dragonborn. Kind of some swept back horns that take on that emeraldy feel, as well as as leather armor, carries some weapons, but prominently up among them bow and arrow, and she will 100% accept this packet from Gorm. Thanks, Gorm. This is perfect. This is we've looked for a whole hour, and now you're leaving us here in the growing darkness and evil. So perfect. Thanks. Yeah.
I can sense that you're unhappy about it, and I assure you I'd stay if the circumstances permitted. But I have left you in very good company here. Michelle, who knows very well the High Queen Kefri, as well as these other adventurers. Why don't we go ahead and introduce Michelle, Ayana?
So what you see before you is a forest gnome, maybe small in stature, but mighty in her heart. You see she has a little unicorn necklace because her story is that when she was younger, she was always rescuing animals from traps, hunters' traps. And so one day in her dreams, Aaron appeared to her, a unicorn patron, and said, to reward you for such good work, keep doing what you are doing. You are doing good work. And she kind of took it seriously and thought her job was to continue to defend all things great and small. And so she became a barbarian with a very, very high zest for life. She is a vegetarian. She may try to convert you, but she's not overly attached. She understands the ways of nature and how things work. But she's all very excited, and she became very attached to Queen Caffrey and her safety. And so this is a very exciting time for her, but also a little worrisome. But she's very excited. And she will turn to Karan and say, oh, don't worry. This is a great group here. Mist alone is amazing. Nothing to worry about. All you need to worry about is keeping those papers safe. We'll take care of the rest.
I do unfortunately have some heavy news for Michelle. And Miss can talk about this a little bit, but 10 days ago, you had a dream in which you saw Aaron, the unicorn, with a mane of blazing fire and flesh that was like wispy and almost disintegrating in the air, infused with shadow, charging directly at you with blazing eyes of fury. Yeah, and I think Mist can provide a little more information. Why don't we go ahead and introduce Mist?
Mist is suddenly looking very sheepish, but Mist is all of about 2.5 foot tall on a good day, golden, coppery skinned kobold, deep purple robes. Underneath the hood of their robe, if they took it down, there's some kind of miniature dragon skull perched atop their head like a helmet, and has acquired an amulet, which proves, obviously, Mist's devotion to Lady Mystra, and never goes anywhere without just a small mace. But Mist is now very sheepishly looking at Michelle. So, do you remember how we were friends before, right? Hold on to that for a moment. I met Aaron, and I may have accidentally killed Aaron, but it saved the forest and Lyneth again, or the first time. I don't know. I've saved Lyneth a couple of times now, and I'm really sorry.
Oh, that was unexpected. I'm gonna need a moment, right?
You can take all of them.
Yeah. I'm sure I gonna need a moment.
I naturally did not bring it over to my desk this time, but I do have a unicorn horn that I have a glass unicorn horn wand that I normally gesture around, but you should have this horn. And Mist will hand it to you, crying.
This is in fact the crystal horn of Aaron himself.
Yeah.
And you're going to see Michelle kind of gingerly take the horn and kind of turn her back to the group and kind of hunch her shoulders. You suspect that she is absolutely crying and trying to keep it all together. And so she's gonna go over to a little corner and hold on to that little horn for a bit.
And Gorm Gudbranson says, "It is a great sign of dark times that the unicorn Aaron is dead. It was not the fault of anyone, not even you, Mist."
If it helps, Aaron was very infected and corrupted and didn't want to spread it. So we stopped it.
Well, to the end of clearing and cleansing all that needs to be cleansed, I have brought 2 more adventurers into our midst, and we'll start with Corin. You can introduce yourself.
Corin is a Luir elf, which are rarely seen among the Moonshays, for they are an isolated people. He has pale skin, gold hair with silver highlights, a steel gray breastplate with silver accents, and a blue cape, shield and sword. And word of the troubles of these lands has reached even my people in our mountain home, and so I have been sent forth to learn what I can. And having seen this howling disease and the threat that it poses to my people, I've decided that I can't return until I've done all that I can.
Let me add a little information here, which is that, Corin, you specifically heard word that a fey creature named Sahanalar, she is a siren, that she was under threat by the howling disease as it spread through the forest. And one of your maybe personal errands would be to check on Sahanalar and see if she is safe.
Okay.
Okay, let's hear from Bamba.
So there's kind of been a little bit of chaos, some tears, and some heroic introductions thus far. A little bit, maybe like a couple feet away, silently strumming on a lute, but sitting on the ground, so they have their little feet up and their hooves on top of some drums. So they're strumming a lute and playing the drums with their little hooves. And they're singing about unicorns. And I think after Corn makes his introduction, Bamba kind of like pulls a corn and it twangs terribly, and they turn around to face the party. Wait, I'm not just here to play music. We're actually, what are we?
You have been brought here, my friend, to cure the howling disease if it can be done.
Oh, do you think like somebody else's invitation got stuck in the mail and I got like, maybe I read it backwards?
Gorm kind of like pats his robes as if like, he's like, well, maybe there was some kind of mistake. And he checks the list and he says, no, I very specifically was directed to bring you on this mission. It seems your sway and friendship with other fey creatures may prove useful.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's all you had to say. Nobody's allergic to bees, right? No, you're not allergic. You're not allergic. I don't think you could get stung by bees.
Not that I know of.
Scales.
I don't even know if I know what a bee is.
Oh, and Bomba's just gonna grab a bee that was just hovering around them and throw it at you. And they're all soft little bumblebees, so they've got like little fuzzy outsides. So it just like gently bounces off you.
Spicy bugs. No, thank you.
Yes! Oh, the spiciest. That one's called hot pepper.
Well, as important as this conversation is, I should really be getting along. There are other groups, other spies.
Well, you gotta go give more people papers. I get it.
That is a surprisingly large percentage of my workload. And then he mounts a horse and rides northward away from the shadow and the forest that lie ahead of each of you.
Goodbye, Gorm. Probably stop telling everyone that you're a spy master. It's not really how this works.
It's the first
He
thing
says, you don't need to shout it.
Don't worry, all the spies here are gonna be fine without you.
So
That's good work.
Karan, you have been handed this stack of papers, and you can see that they look like notes of lore, history, and even some arcane musings by 2 sages. You can see their different handwriting is pretty clear. One is very deliberate, calm, and the other is like wild chicken scratch all over the margins of the pages. And as you kind of flip through it, anyone can take a look, and if you wanted to make a history check, you can always add on what your character knows. Essentially, you've learned that swan mays are created, not born. So they are imbued with that kind of swan lycanthropy, which is actually kind of a healing presence, both in their body and in the land around them. And as you're kind of looking through, you can see it mentions that a swan may must be a fey creature, and that the swan mays used to exist pretty regularly in the Moonshades, but it's been hundreds of years, if not more, since a swan may was seen. Therefore, the only people who have personal knowledge of them would be very, very ancient fey creatures.
How are you sharing that info with us?
I'm gonna go over to Corin and be like, hey, you're an elf, right? So like you're super old, Corey. Here, I don't really like do the reading thing. So these are yours now. Something about like ancient, the swan maze or whatever, and they're missing and we should find them maybe. That's pretty much what I got out of that.
No clues, no directions, no one to ask.
Probably over a very prolonged period of time, Karan will convey what Graham just told us. But she is very much like, reading. Why?
And taking a closer look, you will see that there is a fey creature named. This is a pixie, very, very ancient pixie named Nova Firefoot.
Aw.
And she is believed to live in the Durnall Forest. And there's even a map. So let me share this little map with everyone.
Oh my
here.
god, it's cute.
It's kind of a hand-drawn map done by the more deliberate hand of the two sages. And
Oh,
you
this
can see
checks out. This looks like a real map. Yeah.
the pixie bramble is labeled there right on the top left.
Amba, I can't find the place where it says you are here. How does this work?
You usually just pick a corner and hope that you're in that corner.
That makes sense.
Yeah, based on your knowledge as a ranger, you're fairly certain that you're north of this map. So
Which
you'd be
one of us-
moving.
we're both rangers.
And we're both no idea how to read this map.
Between the two of you.
I think if we combine our head power, our brain power, we'll solve this one.
Okay, I'm ready, and I headbutt you.
These. It's good thing I have horns. Why? You have scales. Ow.
Oh, no. Oh, we're not even on this map yet. It's like misgestures in various directions that are all wrong.
And Michelle, you've spent a fair amount of time in Lehigh, the town at the center.
So Michelle will watch everyone with kind of a smile on her face. This is an interesting group of people who have forgotten how to range, but that's fine. And so she will take the unicorn horn and she will gesture and say, "My friends," and she will point to Lehigh and say, "It is with this place that I have been, and I believe we are," and she's gonna use the top of the map. "We're over here," and she'll look over at Mist, and you'll see her eyes are kind of red rimmed, and she generally has smears of dirt, a little bit of dirt on her face, that kind of thing, and so you see the little tear tracks through the dirt. But she will look bravely at Mist with that little lip trembling thing sometimes that people do, and say, it is. I hope that you will join me, and it is with Aaron's name upon our hearts that we will rid this land of the terrible howling disease, and we'll help our ranger friends range. Yes, that's what we'll do. And
Remember how to range. That's so good. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and she will say, and it is upon Aaron's name that we will free this land, or at the very least succeed in our mission to find these beautiful creatures, Swan May. And she kind of wipes her little face, and she bucks up, and she looks over and she says, "We are worthy. We're gonna do this, guys."
So Mist has been to the Durnal Forest, so I do have some general idea of like that way.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
That doesn't really help me get to Lay.
You know that the closer part of the forest, only a few, maybe dozen miles away, is the Moonwell,
Yeah.
where last session you
Things went
fought a
bad.
battle and were carried away by giant eagles as Antola, who tended that well, was dragged in.
Yep.
So that's probably the epicenter of the shadow. And you also probably want to avoid Caer Caladir, which is the city that has been overtaken by the Shadowfell armies.
Yep. All of that sounds really bad. I know last time one of my beloved lady companion friends that I adore got dragged into a Moonwell
Oh.
was when I had to accidentally kill a unicorn, and I don't want to do that again. So maybe this Swan May thing may help save, not May Swan. Words.
So did that tell us where to go? I could use my ranging abilities. I feel like it's been gifted back
Think
to me
we
from
just
Michelle.
go down.
Yeah, I think between Mist and Michelle, you'll be able to find your way to Lehigh. There's a nice road that leads right there.
Yeah. Okay.
And so traveling through the forest, you travel for probably a couple hours. In that time, you have some strange feelings as the shadows kind of encroach upon you. The forest starts to look darker, and the mists reach out like fingers toward you. Here's what happens. A harsh wind begins rushing about 2 hours into your journey along the road, and it's whistling through the trees, shaking down leaves and whipping them through the air. And as it passes, you all feel this odd kind of prickling sensation. And for the briefest moment, Mist the Most Devout's eyes begin to darken, as though the whites of your eyes are kind of receding and they're turning entirely black.
Mist, are you feeling all right?
You're
It's like
muted,
they're
Jenny.
talking and no sounds are coming out.
Right?
Oh no!
Can I see less or can I see more?
You see just fine. In fact, you feel the prickling sensation, but it doesn't seem, you're not aware that your features are changing.
I'm fine. Why?
How many fingers am I holding up?
Well, 2. I don't know why I wanted to say that you only had 2 hands because you don't have paws, but that's irrelevant.
The shadow then kind of passes away, and that feeling recedes.
Oh. Well, that was cold.
Cold chill?
And just a few minutes later, you arrive at the village of Lehigh. It looks mostly boarded up, like people have evacuated.
I believe so.
People lived here.
Oh, maybe. I thought you did.
It's nice that they had time to board up.
Yeah.
I would never have done that. You just take your stuff and run.
Oh no, wait, we should check inside. Last time I found a boarded up village, there were people who were starving.
Huh. Okay, let's kick it down.
And Greenfist asked to see the manager.
Does anyone want to make any checks or
Can I kick down a door?
Yeah, sure can.
With my head, preferably.
Great. So you slam your head into a door and it opens, revealing a house that looks like it was hastily packed up. There's definitely belongings sitting around. This seems to be the residence of There seems to be a residence of a gnome family.
Okay. Tiny chairs, tiny tables. Michelle would be like, yes, that fridge. My kind of fridge.
There's a whole Gnome Les Mis thing that's happening in my head now.
No place like Gnome.
Where my gnomes are dead and gone. I'm gonna summon a dragon?
No!
Yeah, no, that's what I do. It's like my whole thing. I'm pretty useless if I don't do that.
Is this your steed or companion?
Yeah, it's my Drake companion.
Oh, that's not okay. I thought you meant like.
I was down with either.
Although this is also big dragon, I am very small dragon, and I don't know how I feel about this.
I take a small wind-up toy of a dragon out of my pocket, and I like crank it a little bit, and then I kind of just throw it. And then I pick it back up because I forgot to push the button. And I push the button and I throw it, and it grows into a small dragon, like a small sized category dragon. But it's all mechanical and whatnot. And then it keeps going. It keeps getting bigger as it like goes over and eats like a fence post and some other like metal and wood things. And it gets medium sized and has like a saddle built into its back. And I immediately just like sit down, like, okay, I'm ready for more walking.
Huh.
Yeah.
So
None of this, by
Yes,
the way,
this.
attracts any attention. The village is basically deserted.
I'm ready to like search for things and stuff. This
Ah.
is
Yeah.
my dragon, Poppy.
I would like to look to see if there's like, you know, signs of like a mass exodus in that direction, you know, footprints and stuff.
Sure. Go ahead and make your choice. Investigation, perception.
Can I assist in like the worst way? Can I just like
No. I
ride
mean, yeah.
ride around on the dragon like 5 feet behind Miss, being like, what about those? What about that? It looks like mud, and I'm not going to touch it. But what about that?
Okay, go ahead and make that roll.
No.
So no,
Thank
you don't find
I
any
got a
particular
10.
no particular direction of mass migration. It just looks like people in waves, were boarding up and getting out as the shadow encroached closer and closer. I will say, Michelle, you would know that there's a Fey village, that one that's depicted on the map. That's only about 5 miles east of here. As well, Corin, you know that Sahanalar's Siren Pool is the one depicted on this map, and it's about 3 miles away.
That's close. We could start there.
I will
Oh.
say that gnomes don't generally desert their homes and their belongings. And this is very strange. We're very attached to our things. And she's gonna pull out a little piece of a bird's nest and sometimes other creatures' things that they leave for us. And then she's gonna put it back in her hair and she's gonna say, I know that we're very enthusiastic, but these were people's homes. And and they wouldn't leave them without a good reason. And though I'm here to protect you all, and she'll pull out her mace, I can't be everywhere at once. Let's be very careful. But I do think that there may, when I think of all the places that are nearby at the map you showed us, there was a village, a Fey village not far from here. I think that would be a good choice for people to go to. Do we want to look further into the town, or do we
No.
go
Fey
check it
Village.
out?
Fey Village.
If Bomba's excited, I'm this excited. Let's go.
Do you know what kind of parties they have at the Fey Village? There's a reason I can play the drums with my hooves.
I want to learn how to play drums with my hooves.
Would I know anyone that lives in this village? From
Yeah, you know that there were some unseelie Fey creatures, and also Fey creatures who had been affected by the howling disease that were kind of being cared for there, as well as creatures that weren't originally Fey, but came into contact with the Fey Wild in ways that changed their form.
Mist wouldn't know anyone specifically that lives in this village.
Uh,
Unlikely.
You know, you're probably aware that on the outskirts of that village, there was a gnome who used to come and go from the Shadowfell, actually. Had a little cottage that would pop in
All right,
and out.
so what I'm wanting to do is if I know someone specifically, cast locate creature.
Great. That has a range of 1,000 feet, right? You may want to get a little closer.
It does, but it lasts for up to an hour, so we're gonna wander around.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna head kind of in that direction.
We're gonna go that way, and then I'm gonna cast it when I get to where he was.
I'm getting a strong vibe. I'm imagining Corin being like, we could go that, no? Like, reminds me of me in college. Carried around by wild, bold characters. So, all right. So you cast locate creature on, this gnome, by the way, is named Geordie Fizzlebump.
Yes.
And as you spend about an hour kind of wandering in that direction, eventually you feel the spell pull you toward Geordie Fizzlebump, who is about 1,000 feet in a certain direction. Just in the trees. You're not actually at the village yet, so it seems like he's probably on the outskirts.
Mr.
Periodically,
Fizzlebump!
Periodically, Michelle will just kind of look over at Mist and be like, "FYI, your eyes did this really weird thing earlier. I'm just checking to see that they
I don't know what you mean.
maybe do that again. I guess it didn't hurt you. Just FYI."
I didn't see it.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to tell you, because I don't want to be that friend that like watches you, walk out of a restroom with toilet paper on your shoe, right? Like, you should tell people. So I'm telling you about your eyes. So
You can't see your eyes either, right?
are they doing something strange?
Well, no, I was just making sure that I wasn't supposed to have been able to seen it.
No,
Saw it.
I can see the inside of my eyelids though sometimes, but that's neither here nor there. That's distracting.
Graham, did I notice the thing that happened with Miss Size earlier?
Sure, yeah.
Probably.
I'll thaumaturgy my eyes to look like Mist's. They look like this. I thought it was a really bold choice.
Basically, it's bone replacement.
Well, that looks concerning.
Yeah.
I am also now concerned about this unknown phenomena, but I can sense my friend Mr. Fizzlebump.
Yes.
Let's go find your friend.
Great. As you proceed in that direction, you can kind of home in on that spell ping that you're getting. And eventually you come into an area that it's not quite a clearing. It's just in the middle of a bunch of trees. You see a cottage kind of sitting there. The front door, there's like a tree 3 feet in front of the front door. Very awkward positioning. And as you're looking at it, the house begins to fade and fizzle as if it's becoming insubstantial, and then pops back into materiality.
Wow. That sounds like a cool place.
And then again, like a, crackling signal, the house kind of flickers, and then pops back.
You've got to teach me that trick.
And you can sense that your friend Geordie Fizzlebump is sitting right inside the doorway. In fact, if you kind of crane your neck, you can see a window and there's a candlelight.
Mr. Fizzlebump, you have to teach me that trick. I know you're here. I'm sorry to disturb upon your peace and general good nature, but there is a concern that is not me. There is an additional concern afoot, and I have brought my friends.
You see a shadow kind of pass by the window, and then a head pops up. Eh? Who is that? Oh, Mist! What are you?
Yes, Mist, it is
This is
I.
fortuitous. Come in. And then he kind of like hobbles over,
He's
opens the
inviting
door.
us in.
Ooh.
He says, please come in quickly. I need your help.
I take my time.
We need your help. How fortuitous. That word you said.
He says, what brings you to the forest? There are so many who have fled.
Right. That's it. You've got it. The first try.
Well, but why are you here if everyone else has left?
To help them get home.
That's the one. We're helping.
Helping.
I see.
Perfectly legitimate business, Mr. Fizzlebump.
He says, well, there's nothing I'd like more than to get out of here and right back to the Shadowfell. By the way, here is Geordie Fizzlebump. For anyone watching at home. He's just this jolly looking
with the
fella.
P on the end, Sean.
Oh,
Fizzlebump.
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 Not Fizzlebum.
I was trying to enunciate it. Mr.
I like
Fizzlebump.
Fizzlebum more.
Can't spell Fizzlebump without Fizzlebum.
He says,
Anyways,
quickly come in. There were attacks not too long ago, and you can see as he kind of opens the door for you, there are claw scratches along the door as though wild beasts have been, raking their claws against the house.
No. Okay, yeah.
Fizzlebump, do you require defense?
I don't know. Those rapscallions were here not long ago, but I'm just trying to complete my ritual. You see, I want to bring my house back to the Shadowfell. I've got to continue my research.
Well, do you know where they went or where we could find us? Michelle, what are we trying to find?
The Swan May. We're trying
Yeah.
to fix what has been broken. I will say, good job. You kind of phased in and out there. You keep doing what you're doing, not while we're here, right? Wait till we leave. But that we're here to try to find something out about the Swan May. And Corin, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at any of the paperwork that Karan gave you. Is there anything else we should be looking for?
Jory, when you say Swan May, you see him. Yeah. Oh, Swan May. Oh, that makes me think of something. Give me a minute. I think I've got something for that. And he'll kind of pass into another room, and you see him rifling through books and papers.
Oh no, is he gonna give us more papers? None of us read. We don't want it.
I do.
See?
You'll read it to
But
us.
only small books.
I feel like Mr. Fizzlebump would be really good at story time.
Let's sit down and cross our legs.
There are no small books. There's only small lettering. And I think somebody maybe have a magnifying glass for that. I like your friend, by the way. I like your friend.
I like Mr. Fizzlebump too. He's very jolly
He's very
and doesn't
busy.
care about my claws.
He says, oh yes, I should tell you the story sometime about when Mist and I met. It involved a tavern and a mistaken identity. Oh, it was quite a time.
Ooh.
And then he says, yes, the Swan Mays. Yeah, the Swan Mays were protectors of the Moon Chase. And I don't ever remember meeting a Swan May myself, but of course, in my younger days, they did exist, or at least the knowledge of them existed. Yes. Haven't you ever heard of Aurelian?
What? Who? What? When? How?
He looks. He like does a double take at the name, and he says, "It's Aurelian. Aurelian."
Oh, really now?
He says, "Yeah, the last Swan May of the Durnal Forest."
We might have to look for it. And we're looking for like the burial mound, and it just never showed up.
Yes, the burial mound. That's right.
Yes, that's what we're looking for.
Thank you, Corin.
Yes, there was something about that. You weren't able to find the mound.
Not even
No.
a speck of dirt that
Oh,
smelled like a
yes.
mound.
This would explain it. You see, in this book, it tells me all about it. There
Mhm.
was a little stone that you could look through, and then as he flips one more page, something rolls out of the book across the floor, and you look down, and there is a stone that's had a hole bored through it, so it creates like a ring. And he says, "My! The things you find in old books!" And then he kind of like chucks the book onto the table and picks it up and says, "Yes, they used to say you look through one of these charmed stones and you'd be able to see the entrance
The entrance.
to the barrow
Barrow.
of the last
Oh.
Swan May. They hid her grave, incidentally, because
think
they
we
didn't
can
want
fit
anyone
through
interfering with
here.
her remains."
I don't.
Oh, sweetie. Oh, sweetie. You just need to look. Look, and it will show us where to go. Once you look and you see it, then you put it down. And she's like, "Oh, may we use this in our quest, friend?"
Oh, well, you can see by the look on his face that he's exhibiting the behavior you described of gnomes. This is kind of a, maybe not a one of a kind, but it's a treasured item. And he says, "Well,
Oh,
I suppose if you help me with my ritual, send me home."
But of
Oh,
course.
what do you need?
I'm trying to get my cottage back into the Shadowfell. You see, it's I know that people don't like the Shadowfell to incur here on the mortal lands, but personally, it's always been a little more of a good place for study in my case. Fewer people bothering me, you understand. No offense intended.
I'm taken. I think we can help. I think we'd be more than happy to help. That's a fair trade, my friend.
Oh, good. I just needed someone to help. Thank you. And he'll kind of quickly set everybody up in a circle, opens up the tome that he had been looking at when you first arrived.
We get
and he'll
to
give you
chant?
I've always wanted to do a ritual. I'm gonna be the loudest.
So it's like, yeah, you read this in unison, and now you've got to make sure you get all the pronunciations correctly. And you can see it's written in Sylvan. And it's like the equivalent of when someone's tying a bow and they need someone to put their finger on the middle.
Yeah.
And it's not very complicated.
What language should we read it in?
It's
Elvish?
Sylvan.
Gnomish?
No, it's Sylvan, silly. You just read the words.
Like obviously, this
Well,
Does anyone read Sylvan?
I believe
I
I
read
do.
Elvish, which is a dialect.
If you were a Hewer elf, you definitely should.
I know.
Wait, I read Sylvan. Haha.
Satyr, yes.
5 languages
Nice.
Woo!
plus telepathy.
I got 4. God, we are
I got
well traveled.
Excellent. So the incantation is it's clearly something that he's concocted himself, and it involves all kinds of strange parenthetical phrases about the types of people that he doesn't want to come to bother him in the Shadowfell. But you complete the incantation, and you see the house kind of flicker again, and then just like it popped back into materiality this time, it pops out of existence. And resting in the center of the room where you've just been standing, you can now see there's a big stand of oak trees, but on the ground is the round stone, and there's a little note wrapped around it that says, "Best of luck, Jordy Fizzlebump."
Oh my god, why did he make his note have his voice?
He left us a present.
It's called a magic mouth, you bumpkin.
Pull out one of my tools and go back to like messing with the wires on my clockwork track. I'm that kind of ranger, suckers.
All right, this is good. This is progress.
This is very good.
So no shade to Mist, but is there somebody we maybe want to hold this, entrust the ring to? Corin, do you want to hold the ring?
I'll hold it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I won't lose it.
I have small pockets, and I already have a bunch of pulls out like stones and sticks and
I
lace
thought
of
there were
stuff.
rocks in your pockets this whole time, and there was.
But this is a very nice one. It's very round and smooth. And this one's
Ooh.
kind of blue.
Ah, what about that one? And then like that. We just keep
This
going.
one's got a spot of green that looks like moss, but it's not.
Huh? Can I lick the next one?
So
Yeah,
like an
do you want
hour
the
of
orange
this
one
kind of
or the-
conversation leads you to the is it to the Sirens pool that you'd like to go next?
We wanted to go
Yes.
to the mound.
Oh, back to the
Ooh.
mound?
I thought so, right?
The Bear
Wasn't that
Mound?
what, wasn't
Well,
that
we
what
don't-
we got the stone
We don't
for
know how to
the
get
mound?
there yet, do we?
We looked through the thing.
Yeah, you knew
Oh.
that it was in the location where you began the adventure, but you hadn't been able to see it. Let me say that Jordy mentioned you can see it, but you ain't gonna open it.
All right, so we'll go to the sirens.
You have a sense that there's more to be done or more to be uncovered. Yeah.
Or something he said.
We can clearly follow these directions.
Okay, great. So let's see. Who would like to be leading as you approach the siren?
I'm very sturdy. I'll go first.
All right, good luck.
Sure, and I'll be right behind you as I wanted to check on this siren and
very
make sure that they
tall.
were all right. Well, not for some of the people I've seen since leaving my home. At home, I'm entirely average, but the people sure
In
are
this
taller
party.
here.
Okay. As you approach what you believe is the area where the Sirens Pool is located, you can hear an absolutely melancholy song. and it's moving through the forest. You can hear it from about 300 feet away. Just this almost wailing song. It sounds like a lament, very, very emotional, not like a funeral dirge, but like passionate, like the equivalent of gospel music in terms of like volume and support. And as you approach, the siren's reverie is not broken. And you hear her sing one more sorrowful line. And as she does, her form becomes visible to you, kind of shimmering in the pool. Let me show you what Sahanalar looks like. So she has these kind of tiger stripes in a dark teal color across her shoulders, and her curly hair is kind of lank around her neck and shoulders. And as she sings this line, you can see a bit of shadow flashes within her eyes, and it reminds you of what you saw happening to Mist not long ago. I would like each of you, if you would, to make a wisdom saving throw.
And 21.
Uh-oh.
I would also like to promptly inform her that your pool looks a lot cleaner than the others.
6.
Yeah, let's see how the results of this go before we see how she responds to that. So we've got 21 from Mist, a 6 from Corin, 12 from Bamba, 13 from Karan, and 9 from Michelle. Okay, so if you did
Michelle,
not,
sorry, she is she gets advantage on wisdom saves against magic. It's that gnome cunning. So let me roll one more time.
sure.
Oh,
yeah.
I have something. I haven't played this character in a while. Against spells or other magical effects, I have advantage.
That's not any
Great.
better.
Yeah, this is a magical effect, so go ahead. Oh no.
Nope, not better either. Okay.
All
ignore
right.
me.
So if you did not reach a DC of 10, you are going to gain a level of despair from the Shadowfell. So as you see this, you can see the shadow kind of roll in like fog banks through the trees. They surround the pool in which she is resting. And those of you who failed the saving throw, looks like it was Michelle, Bamba, and Corin.
Yeah.
Your faces start to look ghoulish and
Oof.
haggard.
Bamba
Would
passed
each of
it.
you?
I passed. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My first roll was a
Zero.
Thank you.
success.
Yeah. Great. So Corin and Michelle, will you each roll a d10, please?
Pick a good one.
You can't just go around debilitating the serious characters that are actually doing things. If you just leave
We need them.
Before you tell us the results, oh no, we didn't start with inspiration. Sorry.
It's
Let's see if anyone's gotten it from a donation.
okay.
This
you
is
can
your
go buy
chance,
yourself inspiration. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's for charity.
Just to see if you can access it.
Okay, no one has been granted inspiration yet. So, Michelle, with a 5, you gain paranoia, despair. So you have disadvantage on all wisdom saving throws and ability checks, and you gain a flaw, which I am going to whisper chat to you.
I have
If I
a
can
feeling
remember how
this
to
is
do it.
not going to go well for our friendship.
Wisdom saves and checks and paranoia. Okay.
And then Corin.
Corin rolled. Did you roll a d10 yet?
No, I didn't. I'll do that for you. Six.
Okay, Corin, you gain terror.
Oh,
So
no.
you have disadvantage on initiative checks, and you have to spend double the normal movement to approach an enemy. That's rough.
Very.
Okay, let me. I'm either forgetting how to whisper. I'm going to send this in the Zoom.
I saw you started typing and then you stopped.
Stop. Everyone's going to see this. Okay, so the Shadowfell despair settles over two of your friends as the siren continues her mournful wailing.
the shadows over her. I don't want to go any closer.
What? So like, this is a bad thing, right?
It's definitely like a sad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of like, the White Stripes and My Chemical Romance coming from.
Getting those
Very
emo
more.
vibes. I don't know if the
Yeah.
White Stripes were quite emo, but yeah, okay.
You see Michelle start to just kind of back away slowly, like, I don't think this is gonna end well for us. And she's kind of looking around furtively, especially at Sahan. Did I say her name right?
Sahana Lar.
Sahana Lar. And she's kind of clutching Aaron's horn and her necklace as well. She doesn't look good.
Okay. Can I mage hand to like send some? So my mage hand is just a pile of bees.
Nice.
Bees in the shape of a giant bee, and they're gonna. I would like them to swarm over to kind of get a vibe for this individual. Like, will they say hi to the bees? Will they swat them away? Will they sing them to death? What's gonna happen?
She'll look up at the bees, and her eyes kind of look upward and then down into the water. And as you see, she looks down into the water, darken. The pool begins to tremble and darken itself, almost turning into like this slick oil instead of water. She doesn't seem to be responding. She's aware of the bees that you've sent, but she doesn't seem to care. She's got something she's grappling with.
Okay. All right. I think she's probably a friend. The water might be evil though, but she's definitely good.
Michelle's gonna shake her head and say, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And she's gonna start to back away from you all as well. She was already in the back of the group because she was kind of guarding your backs, but now she's clearly trying to put distance, and those bees absolutely freak her the hell out.
Corin, you can understand some of what she's singing. She seems to be singing about the world that has been lost, times of glory for fey creatures, now all brought into darkness, and that all hope and cleanliness has been spoiled. Nothing is salvageable.
Yeah.
And if you continue just sort of observing her, you'll see her song continue, and eventually she'll stop for a moment, kind of draw her claws across the pool, and then lift it up, and you can see her hand is now start dripping with this kind of oily black liquid, and then she starts singing again. She goes into a new round of, oh!
Does anyone know what she's singing about? I don't like this song. I don't like this song.
Shanalar, I think you should get out the water. It's not good for you anymore.
Wait. Do you think she'll just leave because you asked nicely?
If you call to her, you'll see she meets eyes with you. Her singing stops for a moment, and she says, "What hope do you bring? Why should I leave this pool?"
My Lady Mistra always brings hope.
You can see, she continues to weep, but go ahead and make a, if you think a persuasion check, does that sound like it's within the realm of what you're trying to do?
Yeah, definitely. Persuasion. I don't have a negative to that, so we're good.
That makes one of us.
Yeah. 15.
Yeah.
The water.
Okay. As you hold up the symbol, you can see the water does begin to like cleanse itself a little bit. Now, Mist might think this has to do with Mistra, but anyone observing would notice it's corresponding to the facial expression of the siren. So as she starts to listen and gain a little bit of hope, the pool begins to become clean.
Clearly, Mistra.
And she says, what hope do you bring? And, repeating the same phrase, but suddenly feeling like she might actually find something worth hearing.
We've got lots of hope. We brought music.
Mm-hmm. You like music? I've been writing a song about a unicorn recently. I heard an argument about a unicorn where I think the unicorn died, so I've been trying to rhyme a bunch of things with horn, like corn and mourn. Lots of options. Do you want to hear it?
She looks at you and she says, if you must, but you do sense that she's open to it. This is perfect time to mention that from someone who is identifying themselves as in the honor of the unicorn, has just donated to give inspiration to Michelle, Corin, and Mist. So thank you so much for those who donated. Yes, and we had an anonymous donation as well to give inspiration to Bamba.
Ooh.
Nice. Sorry,
Look at that.
Karen.
Oh,
Ain't no one giving inspiration to Karen.
Not until you speak to the manager.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Bamba, go ahead. You sense that the siren's kind of
Performance?
waiting for your performance.
All right.
Ooh,
How's an 18? And again, it's that they plop their little butt, like their little fur butt on the ground, get their feet up on the drums so they're like their feet can tap away with the lute, and they just start singing a song about a unicorn.
And out of nowhere, suddenly the siren starts cheerfully laughing. And you sense that this levity is like bringing her out of the despair that has overtaken her from the Shadowfell. And as she laughs, every kind of chuckle and heave of her lungs fills the water with clarity, and you can see now fish kind of streaming back into the pool. And the shadow banks roll back. And when you finish your performance, Bamba, Sahanalar is applauding, and she says, "It has been long since I heard a song this joyous."
Oh, I mean, if you want to hang out with our troupe, I sing almost every night.
I would love it. And she kind of like drifts to the edge of the pool and is like, doing the side of the hot tub thing.
Yes.
She's kind of chatting you up and asking you all kinds of questions about you, your performance style, where your drums were made, all kinds of things. She's a music aficionado, and so you've absolutely enraptured her.
Oh my goodness. Bamba does not have good answers for anything. Like, I think they found the drums in the Feywilds. The lute they might have borrowed from somebody at a bar. Don't know who it belonged to. How they learned? Trial and error.
Great. And then you sense that there's an opportunity for you to ask any questions you might have, as well as Corin, our elf friend.
Yes. I'm still frightened, and so I think I would ask someone to relay a message to her.
Oh.
That yes, we came seeking you to ensure that you were okay. It seems you're doing better now, perhaps?
I do feel a weight lifted. The poisoning of this forest has been such a tool of despair for all of us fey creatures. I have dwelt here in this pool for 1,000 years, and I once hoped to dwell for 1,000 more, but now I don't even know if the forest will see another dawn.
Is there somewhere safe you could go until this curse is lifted from the land?
I can't leave my pool. They tried to convince me.
What if you leave your pool but not your clearing, and we put you in a little tiny hut for a while so that you can rest up?
Ah.
Well, I'm sure a rest would do me good. If you have protection, I
Yeah,
would accept it, yes.
tiny hut coming in clutch again. Yeah,
What is your business? She asks the group.
we're looking for swans. Maybe.
Like swans if they were werewolves, but swan wolves, but there's no wolves involved. But swan and the last one, and potentially a barrow.
Burrow.
Every time the
Burrow.
Bamba opens their mouth, you can see Sahanalar is like, uh-huh. And she says, yes, I know what you're speaking of. The swan maze.
Yeah.
Yeah, the maze full of swans.
It was in my youth that I met the last Swan May. She's now gone.
Do you know where, her body might have been buried?
Yes, she was buried at the north edge of the forest, under a bank of the Swan May River. That river feeds this pool. We are all heirs of the Swan May's grace and healing.
Cool. Burial runoff water. Yeah. Totally.
Lirlian is the name,
Yes.
and her tomb was hidden. There were those who wished to despoil it.
You can see it through the tiny ring that Corin has.
Yes, you'll need the ring.
Yeah,
and you'll
we
also
have...
need to learn the song of the Swan May.
Oh, that's the key. We've got the
Song.
keyhole.
And
I
she'll
know.
begin singing this song, which is, kind of it's not, I wouldn't say it's jaunty, but it's like
Mhm.
this beautiful kind of aria-like air that she sings.
It's a little peppy.
And anyone could make a performance check to learn this song if you wanted to, you could use intelligence as your ability for that check.
That's not going to be better, but I'll try.
Yeah, nope. I'm sticking with charisma. I got an 8.
I got a 10.
I got an 11.
Oof, I have a -1.
Your song.
Oof.
Oh my god, Corin!
I'm
No ear
distracted.
for music.
I'm afraid of everything. I can't.
Do we have to sing it in tune, or is it more the spirit of the thing?
Oh, certainly what you bring with your heart is the most important element. And she
Everyone
nods
has a
like
heart, right?
she nods at Bamba like, of course they know this.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Naturally. Come on, Mist. All right, well,
you can
I
never
know
be
the
too
song
sure.
now.
Perfect.
Yes. So, given those results, I think Bamba, definitely has a strong command of the song by the time you leave the clearing. And if Corin will allow, Sahanalar will, as she gets out of the pool and enters the tiny hut of protection, she'll just sort of clasp your hand, noticing that you're afraid, and say,
I recoil a bit.
she says, don't be afraid, old friend. You've given me hope. For the first time, I feel that this forest might survive, and that the balance of the Earth Mother may be maintained.
We'll certainly try.
And you can repeat your saving throw as she uses her siren magic to cast protection from evil and good on you.
Everyone, I would like to try to offer some kind words of guidance to my friend Corin.
Sure, yeah, that's reasonable. So add a d4 to that, Andy.
All right. Oh my gosh. The dice are against Corin.
Yep. Remember for the future that you do have inspiration, I think.
Yeah, I didn't think I would need it to get a 10, but
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so she senses that she has not helped you enough, and says, "Don't be afraid. Don't be
I'll
afraid."
try. I'll do my best.
What do you
We'll do what we can.
think? Is this afraidness a condition?
No. Are you asking about lesser restoration?
I've got Lesser Restoration, and then if that doesn't clear it, I also have my Divine thing, which gets rid of Charmed and Frightened.
I think this effect is going to be stronger than that, unfortunately.
That's okay.
Yeah, a remove curse would work, as well as a calm emotions.
You know, I strongly considered taking that after the last session, and yet here we are.
Well, she'll just, kind of hold your hand tightly and repeat over and over, "Don't be afraid," and then wave farewell to all of you.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it together, but I'm eager to leave this place.
Orin, do not worry. Like, I know about this ancient technique called exposure therapy. We're gonna make you face your fears. What are you afraid of right now?
Everything.
I'm on it. I just
Great. So, as you head back into the forest, you're traveling for, maybe 30 more minutes. Where would you like to head? You have a third ancient fey creature that you've been notified about by these sages' notes. That is the pixie Nova Firefoot.
The pixie couldn't be that bad, could it?
No.
Pixies are like super nice.
Yeah. They don't ever cause chaos or destruction or try to ruin your lives or plot revenge.
It's like great gifts.
Michelle is just gonna shake her head and like, I don't trust it. I don't know. I don't trust it.
I'm gonna
Well, go ahead.
I'm just gonna throw a spider at Corin.
Exposure therapy, right?
Exposure therapy. Yeah. That help?
Well, having nowhere else to go, I guess, is it fair to say your group proceeds? I think that's your strongest lead.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So as I said, about 30 minutes along that path, you feel the ground below your feet become soft and squishy, and you wonder if you're beginning to enter a marsh, which wouldn't line up with the terrain that the rangers are, well versed in at this point.
Mhm.
And you look down, and
I
each
like
of you
marshes.
sees sticky puddles bubbling and frothing beneath your feet. And at first you think, are we entering like a natural spring of some kind? And then you can see that it is made of this tar-like substance. As the shadow reaches up, you see actual claws grasping at the tops of your boots or feet or whatever hooves that you're walking on. And you feel a little bit of a pull. And then as your feet keep moving along the path, those shadows recede back into the ground and the sensation goes away.
So they're not reaching up very far, 'cause my feet are lower than ever.
Yeah, no, not too
Okay.
far.
They
I
get
didn't
to
know
your
if they were like
knees.
tugging on the hem of my robe or whatever.
This is getting
so-
worse.
Yeah, the shadows encroach upon you as you head toward the pixie bramble, and it is here that we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in about 5-7 minutes as we continue our adventure. Thank you all so much for your donations, and we'll see you very soon. Welcome back to Rising Shadows. We have been exploring the, I guess, the remains of the Durnal Forest on the island of Alaron as our player characters attempt to find out more information about this ancient healing spirit called a Swan May. They've interacted with a few fey creatures, and now we will jump back in as they approach the pixie bramble that belongs to Nova Firefoot, the immortal pixie. Coming upon the glade, the first thing you hear are the cries of goblins, and then you hear a big oinking as of a large pig, and then it starts going wee, wee, loudly. I don't know
It's the one boar we let get away, isn't it?
And as you come into view, you indeed see what looks like a little fey village built amongst bushes, flowers, and small mushroom caps. Pixies buzzing through the air, and goblins running around with sacks, trying to capture them. Let me bring us to
This
the map.
is a terrible sport.
And a frightening one.
Uh-huh. We have to go referee this.
Oh, this looks like fun.
You also see 2 chickens that are just kind of
I see
around.
3 on the map, thank you.
Oh, 3. Thank you. Thank you.
Also fun.
So what would you like to do?
Go catch the pig. No hesitation. Mist is ready.
I want to catch a pixie, but like to talk.
Okay. As Mist is charging forward, we'll just have everyone kind of like, declare an action, and we'll kind of set the scene, and then maybe if we need to, we can roll initiative and manage it that way.
Charging forward.
Is a-
Can I leap this one chicken to go straight for the pig?
Sure, yeah.
All right. How do I grapple
What's everyone
this?
else doing before we
Yeah.
resolve all of that?
I'm going to try to animal handle 1 to 3 chickens to calming down.
Sure. You think, you could handle 3 chickens, right? You're an experienced animal handler.
Yep.
Okay.
Hello.
How about Michelle and Corn and Bumba?
I'm gonna draw my sword, break out in a cold sweat, and try and hide. Like the old, like behind the tree, shield up, sword up, just ready to lash out if anything comes near, but frightened to go further.
Awesome.
And Michelle will definitely pull out her mace and say, I don't like any of this at all. They're all out. They're out to get me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I don't either. It's terrifying.
She's gonna go for the nearest, this little goblin thingy here.
Great. Yeah, feel free to charge your token on down there. And how about Bumba?
Yeah, I think they're just gonna charge in and try to tackle a fairy. If this fairy is in the air, I can leap very high if necessary.
Okay. All right, so let us, it sounds like enough is happening that we should roll initiative.
Yeah.
Let's do it, and then we can resolve it in that order.
All right.
And I am rolling initiative for a pig.
Aaron, how dare you go before me?
That pig is definitely moving at a 1.
We love the pig.
Pig had nothing to do with this, but I have a plan here.
Okay, so we got Bamba at 21, Karan at 20, Mist at 16, Michelle at 11. How about Corey?
Sorry, I had a 6.
6.
I thought you got a 0.
Yeah, close.
Okay, and then our goblin friends.
This pig is never gonna know what hit it.
Ooh, goblins of a 19. So, Bumba, you are first.
Okay, I think, where's my ruler? Oh wow, 20 feet is a lot more than I thought. I'm gonna cast web.
Ooh.
Which I have to. So I need everybody. Let me just read it out loud.
Sure.
So I conjure a massive, thick, sticky webbing at a point of your choice within range. This web fills a 20-foot cube. From that point for the duration, the webs are difficult terrain and lightly obscure the area. So I need a Dex saving throw. Failed save, the creature is restrained as long as it remains in the web or until it breaks free.
Okay, so one of the goblins springs out of the way, this northernmost one, and is not restrained. The southern one that's right next to Michelle is going to be restrained. The pig.
You couldn't get both of those in it anyways.
Oh, I see.
It's a 20-foot cube, so.
Cube, not radius. Got it.
Yeah.
So, all right, sounds good. So the one on the north will scamper free. Then the pig rolls a 13 and shockingly is not restrained by the webbing. The chickens are going to all be restrained. And then the pixies, we've got 6 pixies. You also notice now that there's a goblin corpse there lying dead.
Was wondering.
Okay, you catch all of the pixies except for one very notably kind of proud-looking pixie named Nova Firefoot. It perfectly matches the description that exists in the pile of notes you were given. And they kind of buzz up above the web and like look around grumpily, noting your presence. Okay, and then Bumba, did you also say you wanted to? Was that all you wanted to do for your?
So
action?
narratively, to catch a pixie was just to converse with the pixie.
Cool. Yeah.
But before that, it is very important that I detail that this web, you all imagine a spider's web, which isn't incorrect, but the spider's web came from the butts of bees. So much like how it would work with the spider, the bees were just flying around pooping webbing. Very, very important detail to have.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you for the space. Yeah, Bumba would kind of like to ask, like, so this is a bad sport, right? Do you need some help there, pixies? Nova, yeah, you need help?
Yes, intervene, stop them. And then you hear 2 words come from other pixies. They're speaking in Sylvan though, which I think you
understand. I do understand it. So does
anyone who
ranger.
understands Sylvan will hear the pixies simultaneously yelling goblin and troll.
Oh. Red alert team? I don't know. We don't have it. We never made a code. This is it. This is the battle. Raise your arms. Fight. Breathe. Go.
I would, but you just caught me in web.
Yeah, so let's see. I think that Just Missed will have to make that save. Did you fail it?
Oh yeah.
So you're restrained.
I got 3.
Yep, that's my turn.
Alrighty, let's go to Karen.
Oh, like these aren't friends? All right, fine. And I'll take out my longbow and go for the goblin that was not captured in the web. That seems more. What? No, not my breath weapon. Get out of here. Oh, that's not even an action. Solid. Okay, sorry. Just learning how to play my character on stream like you do. 17 to hit?
Yes, that'll hit.
All right, I'm gonna add a bunch of stuff to this.
You sense the goblin is not very tough.
Yeah, but I wanna.
Please. I wouldn't dream of depriving you.
Yeah, I'll use favored foe, and I'll use my Drake Companion's reaction to give myself an additional D6. So 2d6 and a D8, because the pixie said help. So that's gonna be a total of 13 points on the goblin.
Yes. How would you like to describe this poor goblin's demise?
Oh sure. The arrow shoots out, and then the tip just kind of splits and is a little taser at the end, as for my dragon's infusion, and then just like in the neck, mom, and then falls over.
Great. Yes.
Uh,
Okay. Anything further?
Yeah, I guess I get a second attack, so I'll attack the other goblin.
Beautiful.
And this one's restrained, so I get advantage.
Mhm.
They're not prone, right? Cool. Double 14s for 23 to hit.
Great.
Yep. And I'll do 9 points to this one as well.
Okay. That goblin likewise squeals louder than the pig for a moment and then is silent.
Okay, but like, whose chickens are these? And that'll be the end of my turn.
Great. There are no. Let's see. So here's what I will say: there are no goblins remaining. However, the pig starts squealing and bucking. It has gotten out of the web, and it is going to chomp at one of the pixies.
You said the pig went on 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did roll the pig's initiative, huh? All right, let's call this the chickens then.
Okay.
Oh, right. One of the chickens pecks at one of the restrained pixies, and you see the pixie suddenly falls prone. You see the little like pixie dust shimmer in a trail as they strike the ground, and then one of the chickens pops back up, and it goes bark, 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 and grows to a medium-sized creature. I should say a small-sized creature, and a goblin is there with a scimitar and a shield.
This is getting worse.
I know what happened.
Yeah, anyone proficient with Arcana would realize that goblin was polymorphed into a chicken.
I have my plan, a new plan.
So that was the goblin's action. Then as a bonus action, that goblin is restrained. So we'll do nothing. We'll go to Mist.
I am now planning on casting, since I can't move anyways, to continue my leap. Moon beam.
Okay.
Good choice.
Because I have encountered these shape-shifting wily enemies previously. You have them in little moon.
You don't sense that these are like chicken lycanthropes.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I may not sense that, but like I may not in the moment understand the difference either.
Sure.
There's no difference between polymorph and chicken lycanthropy. Zero.
Yeah, so can I get this chicken and this pig in the edge of that?
Sure, yeah. Moonbeam's got a nice. Thank you, by the way, to Newbie DM for these awesome spell templates that you contributed. You're the best, Enrique.
Perfect.
Is that what you're going for right there?
I mean, you gotta catch the snout of the pig, but yeah.
Oh yes.
I'm totally catching myself in this moonbeam, and I don't care.
Okay, so everyone in the Moonbeam, including the caster, please make. Does it does include you if you're in it?
I don't know.
I think no. I don't know. I've never used that spell. What am I kidding?
Let's see. When a creature enters the spell's area for the first time on its turn or starts there.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
Although you
Okay.
haven't started your turn, so we'll do the saves as we go. Anything else for Mist before the end of your turn?
I hope I save because that's a lot of radiant damage. Otherwise,
You're a picture of confidence.
Otherwise,
Mist.
as my bonus action, I would like to use my my newfound feature, Steps of Night, and I'm gonna give myself wings and a flying speed for a hot minute.
Oh, and you're restrained, right? So you can't actually fly out of the Moonbeam.
All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna get this on my next turn. Right.
Thank you.
Oof.
But I have the
Um,
wings.
Audience members, it's a great time to be generous.
I have
Yes.
inspiration. Don't worry.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, we'll go to Michelle.
So Michelle's eyes are going to widen as she sees this pig transform into a goblin, and she's gonna say, this is not no, and she's gonna rage, and then she's going to attack the chicken next to her twice, like she's just gonna beat it like it stole something.
You didn't know you were going to utter that phrase when you started this game, did you?
Yeah, no, of course not. So that was the first attack, and then get out of here.
It's a chicken,
Yeah, 9 will hit a chicken.
and that would kill it
That's what she's going
If-
for.
if it was a chicken.
So yes, you knock the chicken to 0 hit points, whereupon it bursts and reappears as a goblin. This is the one. Let's see. Is it there?
No, the one right here in front of.
Bamba.
I have so many layers going. I
Right.
can't even
Oh
see.
yeah,
Right.
there's one in between
Gotcha.
Bamba and
I'm
myself.
just gonna keep pinging it.
Thank you. That's great. Okay, a goblin appears, looking very bewildered.
Clucking still.
Yeah. These
And-
goblins, by the way, they have like very vibrant colors, clearly Feywild goblins. Like there's a big purple crest underneath the goblin's hair, and they have like, you know, a certain look that you can tell they are not material plane goblins.
You have to do the pig sound in a moment when it transforms too. Sorry.
I'll do my best. I am a father of toddlers, so I do a lot of animal sounds.
And that's it for Michelle.
Okay. Corin.
Okay, I will lean out from behind my tree once and then lean again, my fist wreathed in fire, swing my sword and throw a fire blade at the goblin that's engaged with Michelle.
Great.
So that's a 24 to hit for 9 fire damage.
Excellent. The goblin bursts into flames. Is there anything like particular you'd like to do as it dies?
It could writhe in a circle and be like, oh no, not this. It'll be very melodramatic. What a world.
What a world.
Why did we ever come here? And then I'll not properly hiding, but I'll duck back behind my tree.
Gotcha.
Ecstatic that I managed to pull that off without putting myself at greater risk, because this is a terrifying situation. And except I'll say, troll. Didn't they say troll?
Okay. The pig is-
Win. I don't understand Sylvan. So win.
the pig chomps, but fails to bite at one of the pixies.
The pig
And-
at the start of its turn makes a Constitution
yes.
save.
Of course it does. That Constitution save for a pig is a 12.
That pig is no longer a pig, and it takes 29 radiant damage.
Okay.
Yeah, the transformation happens first. That's a very important. order.
Yes. So as the pig reverts to its true form, the troll
Takes 29 radiant damage.
squeals and takes 29 radiant. That's great.
Mhm.
Looks pretty hurt by that. Okay. That's the beginning of its turn. Oh, you know what that means? It gets its turn as the troll. So that troll is
I
going
was
to
promised a pig noise.
Oh, yeah. As it turns into a troll. And
Thank
is
you.
going to swing a bite and 2 claws at Mist with advantage.
Oh, I have many regrets.
Okay, 21 with the first claw,
Sure does.
a 20 with the second,
That too.
and a 23 with the bite.
Why would you do this to me?
I feel like I had minimal involvement in this.
Yep. No.
So that's a total of 21 slashing damage and 10 piercing.
Okay, that's fine.
And we'll go to Bumba.
Oh. So, lots happened. I'm feeling some kind of way.
I'm bleeding profusely.
Oh wow, that's a lot of blood. I'm just gonna I have to make a constitution saving throw to see if I don't die in this beam first off. Fuck.
I think you're just outside of
You're
the beam.
outside of the beam. You're not. in
Am
the
I?
beam. Yeah.
Oh, that's what that circle is. Okay, thank you.
I know there's so many things layered going on right now.
It's busy, but it's busy in a good way. Okay, so ignoring that. So what my plan was, I'm trying to figure out where it went. I can hover. Writhing Tide. As a bonus action, I gain a flying speed of 10 feet, and I can hover. The effect lasts for a minute. So my swarm of bees lifts me up by my hooves. And then with my main action, I'd like to hover over to Mist and like gentle head pats and cast Cure Wounds. Can I cast that at a second level? Do I have that ability?
Yeah, should be able to.
I don't know what I cast it as. What did it do it?
Yeah, it did a
Second level.
for
Perfect.
15.
That's brilliant.
Just gentle head pats. Yeah. You're doing your best. Keep it up.
I'm very small all of a sudden. I mean, I was, but
Gotta look up to me and all the bees.
Is there a repetition of the saving throw for the web spell?
Only if they want to get out.
if they
Oh, it's
move.
like an action to escape.
Oh, sorry. It's constant. Oh, those are some good questions. Let's find out together.
Yeah, right. Let's see.
Concentration. So remind me, in order to cast my Cure Wounds, that would cancel my concentration?
I don't think Cure Wounds is concentration, so you're okay
Oh, it's
keeping
not.
the concentration on the other one.
Each creature that starts its turn restrained on a failed save, can use its action and is no longer restrained.
Okay, great. Yeah,
Cool.
so it's an action to escape.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else for Bamba?
Nope, the head pats were it.
Nice. All right. Karan.
Cool. Troll in the dungeon.
Roll.
Yeah, Karan's gonna.
Just thought you should know.
Just thought you should know. Is gonna shoot things at the troll. I don't think I can do anything else without killing all my friends. So yeah, no, we'll stick with what we're good at. Longbow. 28 to hit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'm gonna throw all my junks on it this again. Wow, what terrible rolls. So 14 points of damage. Some of it is lightning. If you need that to be separate.
Nope. That's great though.
Good. 21 to hit.
Okay. Is that the second attack?
Second attack, yes.
Yeah, 21 does hit.
All right, so 11 magical piercing from my bow. And then this time I'll remember how my friggin' character works. And I will use my movement to hop off my companion's back and command it to go attack the troll. And it'll fly over and also make an attack.
Very cool.
I think if I have how do I do the thing with the people? It's going to try to bite it. I think that's an 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Solid. And it'll do 2d6 because I am level 7. So, yeah. So 7 plus something. Nope, plus my proficiency bonus, so plus 3. So 10.
Excellent. Okay, as the clockwork dragon, if I've got that right, chews into the troll, you can see the troll scream in pain. It now looks fairly wounded, but you can see that the wounds are quickly knitting themselves back together. That all for Karan?
That's it, yeah.
Okay. we'll go to the goblins. The goblin that is restrained is going to make an attempt to escape. Ooh, and fail. So that's this one up here.
Tisk.
I think it's the only. Oh, there's a chicken as well.
Oh.
And then that chicken is also going to try to escape the web and fail. So then we'll go to Mist.
Excuse you, the chicken in the moonbeam needed to make that Constitution save.
Oh, of
Oh
course.
no!
Yeah, so as it begins its turn, it succeeds on the saving throw miraculously, and so then its turn just proceeds. Does it take half the
Oh.
damage?
It does.
Oh, okay.
So it's still no longer a chicken.
Yeah, that chicken is going to pop and turn into another goblin. Still restrained though.
I would have never guessed this. What a
Okay, Mist, go ahead.
I am going to I gotta get away from here. Oh poop. Let's see. You know what? I thought I had an ally who had flown over near me.
Me. Oh, I don't think I actually moved my little icon.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
In
Also,
that
Poppy the
in-
dragon is somewhere near you.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I have an ally. That's all I need to know. Somebody is next to me, so I have pack tactics.
Great.
I am gonna reach out with my pack tactics and attempt to inflict grievous wounds upon this troll. So I have advantage on this. Yep. All right, so that's this. Sorry, I rolled it twice on accident, but either way, it's a 17 to hit.
Yeah.
And that is 32 necrotic damage on that troll.
Yes.
As I screech,
Zoom filters that out. Graham, you're
Your mic was not having that noise.
it's okay, perfect.
Okay,
I tried not to point at it when I did it.
love it. All right, that was 28 necrotic damage.
32.
32.
I accidentally double clicked.
Oh yes. Okay. The troll just like shrivels and melts into a desiccated pile of goo.
All right.
That
Anybody?
goo is quickly stitching itself back together, though.
I know. Anybody else grievously wounded, or was that just me? All right.
It was
Cool.
just you.
Yep. Cool. I guess that's it. That's it. That's what I got.
Okay, Michelle.
So can Michelle? So you said the troll, even though Mist hit it, it's still it's immediately starting to knit itself back together.
Yes.
It's a troll.
So Michelle is going to pick the biggest enemy, and she's going to run at it in her rage and say, "None of these things are what they appear to be!" And she's, "Stop it!" And she's gonna bash it twice again with her mace.
Okay, you have advantage, and you also automatically deal critical hits.
All right, and so that first roll is, okay, the first roll is a 24.
Okay, yes. So you inflict a critical hit.
Okay.
So
and
roll that damage again.
Okay, a critical hit. Is there something I am supposed to click on roll 20 for the critical hit? Because it's
You-
automatically
No.
calculated.
You rolled it again, so you got 5 and then you attacked again with the mace and actually crit.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Which is what you said you were going to do, attack twice.
Yeah.
So,
So you just need one more d6, but it honestly may not matter that much.
no, she got it. She rolled, she
Oh, you did
accidentally.
Okay,
Yeah. So
cool.
5 and then the other 5.
So a total of 15
It's like
damage.
when I
as
play
you-
video games, I'm just pressing buttons. I'm just pressing the button.
Right. I can relate. Yeah, you what you're doing does not seem to interrupt the process, unfortunately.
But I am gonna move. She had to be closer, so yeah, just she walked around the web, but yeah, and her
Okay.
eyes just widen in horror, and is like,
Oh, let's see. What did I do earlier? Radiant. That's all Miss knows. Clearly.
We'll go to Corin.
Okay. Breathing hard, I'll say, okay, pull yourself together. You can do this. And I'll skitter down the embankment and send another bolt of fire down my sword blade at the troll. Is the troll prone?
The troll is prone, yes.
But it's all right. So I'm at disadvantage here, or is it? Yeah, it's conscious, right?
It's currently unconscious.
So does that even out?
I'm trying to remember if it's still restrained.
Yeah,
Gosh.
I can't recall.
I think it
Yes.
is.
Conditions don't necessarily end.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So it'll cancel out. You'll have a normal.
Okay. Oh,
If it makes you
But I
feel any
missed.
better, the web is flammable.
Yes.
well, I missed the troll, so
Oh,
the
it
shot
doesn't
goes
make you feel
wild as
better.
I'm ducking for cover again.
roll
overcome by
one
Shadowfell
more.
fear.
Roll one more attack with your firebolt just to see how far you miss by. Okay. So you strike the webbing next to the troll, and the webbing catches
Uh-oh.
on fire.
Oh
And you can now
gosh.
see the troll's body is being singed by those flames. Anything else for your turn, Corin?
Beautiful.
No, that's it.
Okay. At the start of the troll's turn, it takes some fire damage from the burning web, takes 3 fire damage, and that prevents it from regenerating, and it dies.
Woo.
Does the rest of the web burn or just that square?
Oh, the web is
Oh.
definitely burning.
Well, I'm hovering.
Let me.
I'm on fire.
Troll is on fire.
This mist is on fire.
So you can see flames now, kind of spreading.
Yep.
They're so cute.
Yeah. And then we will go to Bomba.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna scoop up some friends and go. Can I scoop up like these two?
Sure. Yeah. Easily.
Okay. I want to scoop them and walk and fly away. Oh, I
Great.
can't move them. Thank you.
Okay. You saved 2
Um,
pixies.
Is that like action? Do we think like action and movement?
No, that's okay. You can bring them along. They're willing, so
Cool. So that's my movement. Then with my action, I am going to pull out my little bit of a short bow, and everybody's dead. I have nobody to fight.
let's see. There's 2 goblins alive. They just have they're restrained, which is
Oh,
the
that's
little
what that
symbol
is.
on the,
Okay. Well, I'll shoot this one.
Great.
1, 2.
You got yeah, perfect. Okay, 22 hits.
Does an 18 hit?
18 does, yeah. You've got advantage with both of those if you want to. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're gonna kill him. Excellent.
17 damage total.
Oh, you could attack each one once, I guess, if that's
I would
Extra
love
attack.
the option.
perfect. So the both of them.
This is
arrows.
for the pixies.
Okay, at this point, the only thing threatening the pixies is the fire on the webbing. However, you can end your concentration anytime you want,
Oh,
Bomba.
yep. That's a thing. I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, the webbing disappears, the flames go out, and the clearing begins to calm down a little bit as these fairies kind of shake their heads, and they say, Nova Firefoot flies over. She says, "Oh, thank you so much for saving us. That was a really confusing situation. I mean, you came in, you started casting spells, and I almost attacked you." And you can see they're like shaking a little sword that looks like one of those sandwich skewers.
Yes. Yeah, well, what matters is we saved you, and there was definitely not a mix-up, and we knew exactly what was happening the whole time. Right, team?
Well,
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
mishappenstances aside, you came in just the right moment. What brings you to this part of the forest?
Swan.
Miss. Thank you.
Mazes.
Swan mazes.
Swan mazes.
Swan maze. Now that's a word I haven't heard in a long, long time.
We have to know how to get into their barrow.
Mhm.
Make this horrible. Are you even trustworthy? We have to know.
Of course, you can trust us. Anyone who has the light of the Earth Mother, as you all do, is a friend of Nova Firefoot. Yes, I know a little bit about the Swan Maze. There have been several who are alive in the centuries of my life. Each one was a fey creature, blessed and ritually transformed into a swan may. The secret for the tomb is very simple. You just need to learn the swan may dance.
Oh,
Yes.
Of course, you also know that you also need the song that goes
We
along
have a
with it.
song.
You do have the song.
yeah, I could sing
Because
it.
I'm pretty sketchy on the lyrics, and so that'll be really helpful.
Let the song open the door, let the song open the door, let the song open the door to your grave.
And as you're singing, Nova Firefoot begins to do this like hilarious dance with like swirling hips and, you know, embellish as you please. And they will teach you the song of the dance that goes along with that song to open the barrow. And then Nova says, now you'll need the special enchanted stone, of course, that you can see through. Is that something you've got?
You were like so
Yes.
useful. We should have come here first. How long were you fighting these things?
Oh, just a little while.
Oh.
They've been chasing us through the forest. We tried to
I'm
come
so
home
sorry.
and keep them out of our dwellings, but they attacked us and they've just been laying siege to us now. It's been hours.
So sorry.
But yeah, like we have the ring that you have to look through or whatever.
You do.
Oh, I don't have it. I lost it.
No. We gave it to Corin.
Oh, whew,
Corin?
good plan. Corin, you have the ring.
Corin.
Yes. I have it. It's here. Here.
You
I
seem
thought you might have
you
become
seem,
afraid of speaking for a second there.
you seem reluctant and afraid, Corin.
It's been a long journey. The shadow has descended upon the forest, and it's affecting us, I'm afraid.
Yes, all of us have felt its presence. No doubt the Moonwell is corrupted, and it's sending the shadows out all across these lands. And even as they say this, you can see another one of these fog banks rolling through the pixie clearing. And I would like everyone to make another wisdom saving throw.
No.
I want to roll one.
Yeah, remember
I'm-
if you've got.
I'm burning my inspiration.
I'm burning my inspiration.
Beautiful.
I got a 19. I'm fine.
Oh my gosh, 11.
Okay. Everyone succeeds, looks like. Am I missing one?
Oh,
Who are we missing? Michelle, is that right? Or did you tell us already? Oh, great. Oh,
She has disadvantage because of the thing. So she
Oh,
has
yes.
disadvantage on wisdom saves, right?
that's right.
that's unfortunate.
Okay, so Michelle, you're going to gain a second form of Shadowfell Despair. Roll another d10 if you would.
Awesome.
Oh, damn.
Ooh, the visage of the ghoul that you bear is just getting worse and worse. You start to look like an undead creature.
That would be a 9.
Is
Okay.
she undead? This is very important, if you recall.
Not strictly speaking. But you now have disadvantage on all attack rolls. And you gain another flaw, which I will share with you.
Okay. So in addition to the other disadvantage.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How are people looking? Mist, you took some damage, right?
I did, and then I took some healing.
Okay.
Bee healing.
Mm-hmm.
They just dropped honey everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
an antiseptic. Perfect.
I feel like I need to bolster our friends here. I'm gonna need to do some buffs soon if we're gonna fight anything else.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. It lasts for 8 hours. I'll go ahead and cast Aid
Yeah.
on Bomba, Mist, and Michelle because they all seem frontliney based on
Nice.
combat we've had.
Sorry, what did you cast on Michelle?
Aid. Your hit point total goes up by 5, and you heal into those 5, or you heal by 5. It's also my favorite way of like picking up half the party if people are down. Well, I'm alone for some reason. How about you 3 come back all at once?
I also have aid. Good call.
I took a bunch of healing stuff, and I was like, oh, well, this isn't going to be helpful.
I love that.
Now, as you've been traveling through the forest, it's been getting later and later in the evening. There's not much of a difference because the shadow here is so thick that you're already in dim light, but the darkness is starting to really descend. It's up to you whether you want to find a place where you can rest or if you want to forge back along the path toward the barrow.
I vote toward the barrow, but first, who has really good dark vision?
I have standard dark vision.
Standard dark vision.
Do you have dark vision, Karen? Nope. All right, I'm gonna give myself, Karen, and Michelle super advanced 300 feet dark vision.
Whoa.
Fancy.
You have the eyes of the night. Oh, I can share with up to 3. So also, probably Corin because you're afraid of everything. So I want to make sure you can see what you're afraid of.
Okay.
Do you warn us that you're gonna do that?
I ask you if you'd like the special eyes again. Yeah, you had them before.
Yes, but not after failing all those wisdom saves. So once you cast it on her, you're going to see. I knew it. Everything out here is a trap. Everything.
Yep.
And she's just trembling. There might be a little bit of pee running down her leg. There might. I'm not saying there is, but I'm not saying there ain't.
See, now you don't have to be afraid of what you can't see, though. You only have to be afraid of everything that you can very clearly see. I don't know if this is helpful or not.
You can see more, and we're in a forest.
Mechanically helpful.
Yes.
Thematically,
it's
dubious.
Hilarious.
Well, if everything gets too bad, then I'll just grovel and help everyone.
When all else fails.
Grovel, cower, and beg. Tis the kobold way.
So let me just refresh our memories here on the map. So you are currently in the Durnal Forest right here. This marker is on the location of the barrow. You have visited now several areas around. You went to Lehigh. Let me get a better arrow on there. Yeah, you went to Lehigh as well as some other spots along the river in the forest. And if you head back to the site on the edge of the forest where you know the barrow lies, your journey will be about, from the Pixie Bramble, about 4 or 5 hours. And the forest kind of encroaches upon you. You feel the terror of the shadow, but you manage to make it safely back to the location. Now, who's got the stone again? Is it Corin?
Yeah, I do.
So if you hold it up to your eye as you approach along the riverbank, you can see set into the hill, there is indeed a one of those, like, there's a name for it, Stonehenge-like.
Dolmen.
Yeah, there it is. And it's kind of banked up along the earthen like rise or cliff that looks over the river. And there is a stone door sitting there. It's obviously closed, and you can only see it when you're looking through the stone.
I could see the door. Does anybody else want to see? Do you want to try the song and the dance?
Are we ready? This could be it. This.
Is it time for our recital?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's totally-
I didn't practice.
We all practiced together like 5 hours ago.
Uh-huh. You were probably napping. I don't really know.
Yep. Practiced. I did. Not. But yeah, let's do it. How bad can it be?
Okay, Corin, you watch. Me, I'll sing. But everybody else, you dance.
Okay.
Put it on the t-shirt.
Performance?
Yes, a performance check.
Everybody do your favorite TikTok dance.
Now you can aid, obviously, and give someone advantage.
Guidance!
I should probably use my inspiration. I'm fine.
You're good.
I'd like
So,
to guidance someone.
I'm golden.
I rolled a 0.
That guidance isn't going to
what?
help you.
I rolled a 0.
Oh my god, you just fall
Full on
over?
0.
Karen literally just goes, okay, it's time for dunk.
Huh.
Who left this wet grass here? I want to talk to the landscape architect.
The good news is that only one creature needs to successfully perform the dance, and only one needs to successfully perform the song. So Mist and Bamba, you very ably perform this feat, and Corin, through the stone ring, you can see the door begin to roll back and disappear ethereally as the tomb opens.
I didn't
Within-
practice, but I didn't say I wasn't watching.
Nice. So within there is a slightly winding tunnel that quickly leads into a dimly lit barrow. The barrow is lit by these kind of phosphorescent flowers that are hanging. Phosphorescent, is that the right word?
No.
Luminescent flowers hanging along the walls of packed earth. And you can proceed inside. The first thing you see almost right away as you step into the entryway is a table laden with the remains of a feast that must be magically preserved. And sitting in a chair beside it is the figure of what you think is a humanoid, but you have this impression that their form is out of focus, like looking at an image that is heavily blurred. And you can see like gestures and what must be a head kind of like moving back and forth and nodding towards you, and you just hear this figure tries to speak to you. But there's no way to interpret what is being said or any of the motions.
I'm gonna reach out with my. Can I get within 30 feet of the figure?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna reach out with my Dragonborn telepathy, which doesn't require us to share a language, and just send the concepts of like, oh my god, are you okay? Like, do you have an upset stomach? Do you need Pepto?
You hear a clear voice, energetic and youthful in your mind. The voice says, I have not heard anyone speak in so long. Thank you. Thank you for entering my tomb. It feels as though everyone's forgotten me. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Karan, and like, these are some people who I work with, and they're great. They're like awesome. And we're here looking for like a swan maze.
That's
Who are
me.
you talking to?
I am the
Karan?
Swan May. My name is Alirlian.
Alirlian? That's
Yes.
so many L's. We talk about how many L's you have in there. That's a lot of L's.
You know, we could talk about it, but really I'd like to speak more about the danger encroaching outside this tomb. I haven't been able to leave in so many centuries.
Yeah, no, like, tell me more about the danger encroaching outside the tomb. I bet Corin and Michelle are going to be super interested in this.
The rest of you are only hearing this kind of like as
Yes.
the figure speaks.
Thus missed inquiry. Who are you talking to, Karen?
I'm talking to a Lyrlin, and she says she's the Swan Maze.
Oh.
I'm like, I don't know how you identify as a maze, but like, I'm not here to judge, so that's cool. And she says there's a danger encroaching that's been keeping her inside this burrow or barrow.
Yes.
Oh.
That's what we're here for. Help. Tell her
Yeah.
we need help.
We need
Danger.
help, or we're here to help.
Yes.
Both.
We are here to help you help us.
Yes.
You need to gather the offerings quickly.
Okay, more.
I don't
have to
remember
do?
much about it. My life is still hazy. But in this barrow, there were offerings left to me so that I could retain my memories. Bring them back to the table, please.
What are these offerings? Believe me, girl, I understand being hazy in the morning.
There was a chalice.
A
I
chalice.
don't remember anything else.
Well, that
Okay.
definitely explains the haziness.
How many offerings are there?
I think at least a couple, three.
So like 3 things, one of which is a chalice. Bring them back to the table. It looks like there's 3 other hallways here, so this is all kind of adding up.
I'm gonna go this way.
Hey, okay. Well, I'm gonna go make sure she doesn't die. He doesn't die.
Okay, Mist, as you wind around this hallway, you see a chamber that's filled with some kind of basin.
Ooh. Bathtub.
As you step into that spot, behind you, a stone wall slams shut.
Sorry. Everyone.
I'm going to bring you to a page. On that wall, you can see tablets set vertically into the surface. They depict different creatures. And there is a verse that says, "To ensure my friends are not let down, open the door, or they surely drown. One of each there is, and one of each there shall be, whether reading hand to hand or reading head to knee."
Is it on my side of the door or their side?
It's on the other side of the door. So it's visible only to those who were behind
Outside.
Mist, the room begins to fill with water starting from that basin.
Team, there's like some reading and like puzzling to do. Everyone come over here. Or like Mist is not gonna be okay or something. I don't know.
Puzzle
Now-
time?
You as players can move these tablets.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay. To ensure my friends are not let down, open the door, they surely drown.
I get the sense that there might be like a water thing going on the other side of the door.
Oh yeah, you hear it. Water pooling
Okay,
through.
so we need and then sorry, I need a swan. Stole a swan. Then I need one of these bears. All right. So we need one of everything in every row.
Okay.
Sorry, we're playing Sudoku.
Now you've got it.
Yep, so that was good. So swan, fish,
Mist, the
frog.
water has reached about your waist.
This is not great. I need a wolf over here.
That's 2 wolves on the bottom now.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Okay. Oh, so we're going across at a time. Okay, I see.
We have to do both. It has to.
Right. I was trying to see what order we're moving them in.
Oh, fuck.
Because yeah, you're good.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, let's just clear off the bottom area here. Good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good
there's-
I'm
plan.
imagining the group like pulling the tablets down, stacking them.
All right.
Trying one arrangement. Be
All right.
"Ah, heck."
So
All right, this is the easiest way. So we got a wolf there. We need a wolf here. Where's the other wolf? Wolf
They're
here.
all in a stack right there. Yeah.
Wolf there. So fish, 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 fish. Where's another fish? Fish. And then that leaves the fish over here. So do you see where I'm going with this now?
Mhm.
All right. Swan. Oops. Managed to fuck that up somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. I'm just on the wrong column.
there you go.
All right. Bore. That should do it. Do we get some Zelda music?
There is one error.
Hold on.
Oh, this bear shouldn't be here.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
The water is going up to Mist's neck.
Perfect. Just swap the bear and the thing. Perfect.
There you go. There.
Got it. As you put the tablets into place, suddenly the wall drops into the earth, and you see, like, as if a mold earth spell was cast. The dirt scatters over the top of it and fills in all the water, and the water begins to drain out of the room. Mist, sopping wet, kind of struggles out.
Yeah.
Welcome.
In your hand, Mist, you now see an object has appeared.
Is it a chalice?
It is a golden chalice.
Ba-da-dum.
Oh my god, that's like the one thing that like she remembered. Let's go look at the other rooms.
I hope there's a puzzle I can shout through the door from the other side too.
Very useful.
Super impressive how you solved that puzzle without being able to see any of it.
Quality organization.
We were shouting through the door.
It was good.
Clearly how that went down.
A good system.
All right. So who's running through the next door, Karen?
What? Oh my god, I found chairs.
How do I get out of here?
Yeah, so Karen, as you enter that area, it looks like a little study. There's several books piled up. Like a little nook, maybe. A very cold cup of tea is sitting beside these books. And it doesn't, there's a chest that doesn't seem to have any hinges and has no lock. However, on the inside cover of each of the 3 books, you see them kind of flop open of their own accord as you approach. You can see writing. And there are 3 what seem to be riddles.
In a moment,
What did
in
it
a moment of true character growth, Karan will read the book.
Are you going to complain about the coffee being cold first?
Yes. Yes.
So the first riddle reads, I have not flesh, nor feathers, nor scales, nor bone. Yet I have fingers and thumbs of my own. What am I?
It's blank on my side.
Yeah, there's also blank.
Oh, no. Yeah. So let me copy the text up.
Is it us?
Not flat.
I wasn't listening at all.
Okay,
I'll
there.
let.
Oh no! Don't show us
Karen-
the answers.
Oh, that's why.
I didn't look.
I looked. I can't answer. I was gonna guess skeleton.
Okay, what was the first question again?
So there was a reason why the answers or why the text was piecemeal. Okay, so the first one is, I have not flesh, nor feathers, nor scales, nor bone, yet I have fingers and thumbs of my own. What am I?
Fingers and thumbs.
And it's not skeleton.
No bone.
Oh, I missed that part.
No flesh, feathers, scales, bones, fingers, thumbs.
Stuff things.
So did Karan, Sean, did you see the answers?
Yeah. No, I saw the answer.
Utterly spoiled. Let's in the interest of time.
Oh, glove. The thing
Okay.
that goes on the hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
I may
as
be a
you s-
nuisance, but commit no crime. But I'll be part of a murder in time. That's a crow.
As you say, glove, the book closes with a satisfying flop.
Or is raven murder? Crows, raven.
Yes, as you say,
Crow.
crow, the second book
Each
closes.
morning I appear to light your feet all day. I will follow matter of past you find near. That's a shadow.
Shadow.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So you complete the riddles and the books poof, 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 close, and then a keyhole and a set of keys appear
All right.
in the chest.
I will like 100% open it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Turning the key, you're able to open it up, and inside you find both 2 potions of greater healing, as well as an embroidered pouch inlaid with gold thread. It seems inside to contain dried earth.
Dirt.
Cool. All right. A bag of dirt and some shots. I guess we'll take these back to the table.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Who's going into the next chamber?
I mean,
Michelle?
feel like it's Bomba's turn.
Oh,
I feel like
no.
Michelle and Corin are too scared.
Oh, it's true. All right, charging in head first.
Pat, I see you. Thank you for trying to help.
So let's see. Bomba, as you're heading to, this is the west chamber there.
Yeah, over
Yeah.
here where Mist has gotten.
Okay, you can see that there is a series of tiled floor panels. Some of them have fallen through, and you notice that they're hollow underneath, and there's about a 30-foot drop that goes deep into the earth. However,
Oh, okay. Oh, those are hard. to
the
see.
entire room smells of thick mold and is completely dark, except for the light of a few stars that peek through the outside trees, through small windows, which, you know, you imagine if you were able to get up to them would look out onto the valley of the river.
Okay.
If you kind of look around, you can also see a chest on the far side of the room.
Yeah, very faint.
And the pattern tiles seem to show different images. There's a flame, there's a sun with a face, there's a pattern, like a star pattern,
Got to zoom in on this.
as well as a sun that seems to be just like a ring of fire. Now you have the special dark vision, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
300 feet.
With that dark vision, and only with that dark vision, you see a phrase written on the far wall.
Oh,
It says, "Avoid the dark, for danger lies, but more so does a face with eyes."
okay. So what are these symbols again? Shoot, this is clearly a sun,
Uh-huh.
a fireball,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
what is the star thing? Is it simply a star?
Yeah, like a star pattern. It kind of looks like a constellation.
Okay, avoid the dark for danger lies, but more so does a face with eyes.
Bomba, can you like fly?
Yes!
Cool.
Oh, you know, I always
Mhm.
forget that I can fly. I can only do it for minute intervals and very few times a day, but luckily I have 2 more times.
Hey, I can also only fly for a minute a day, 3 times a day.
So weird.
What a-
Can we just circumvent your puzzle?
Of course. Yes,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, Bomba is going to cast where is it? Features and traits. Gathered swarm. So like all the fuzzy bees create this little pillow of bees the Bomba just kind of like reclines on, and the bees will float them over to the chest.
Okay. Inside the chest, you find a feathered cloak made from swan feathers.
Ooh.
It's this gorgeous, like it looks like it would trail down in kind of a beautiful, swan-like train.
Okay. I'll put it on to while I fly / float back over.
You also find one other thing, which is a set of mithril armor, a mithril breastplate.
I don't know if I can carry that.
It's mithril.
Yeah, it's fairly light.
True. Okay, yeah, I'll scoop that up. I got some goods.
Fashion box.
Yes. We need a montage. Oh, we don't have time. That's okay.
I love this swan look for you.
Mm-hmm, right?
Well, we're totally gonna
The whole
montage when we're
thing.
done. The front of the armor is adorned with the raised image of a raging swan.
As a person who grew up in a town with swans, yeah, no, that.
Mm-hmm.
So as you come back into the central chamber,
Mhm.
you can present these 3 items to the foggy figure. As you bring them closer to the table, the figure comes into focus. And for the first time, you see a Lyrlian.
Lyrlian looks like.
Yes, I do have a... here she is. She is, hale and strong, young-looking woman with kind of brown, wavy hair. Feathers adorning her outfit. She is translucent, however, very clearly a spirit or a ghost that has remained trapped within this barrow. And she says, "Thank you for bringing the offerings back. Now I fear I still can't leave this place unless it were that I possessed someone. But if there's anything you wish to know, I can
Mr.
share.
Bomba.
You clearly are well versed and good-hearted folk. For having gathered these things, you passed the tests of the barrow. You bring the lore of the Swan Maze.
Oh, rating. Oh,
What can I tell you? Hey, welcome, Raiders. Awesome.
Just a quick catch up for everyone that's raiding. We're playing D&D. That's it.
Yeah, they have just gathered several sacred objects back into the tomb of the Swan Spirit, who's a spirit of healing.
more importantly, both Bomba and Mist have just volunteered to be possessed.
Mm-hmm. And belatedly, Karan.
Yeah.
I guess.
As you raise your hands to volunteer, suddenly all the lights in the tomb go out, and it is covered with darkness. And from the doorway, you see 2 glowing eyes at about 3.5 feet off the ground. As the shadows pull back, you can see the figure of Antola Pilark, the corrupted druid of the Fountain of Fairy,
Oh no!
which is the
oh
Moonwell.
No!
Her eyes are entirely dark, and you can see shadow forms writhing like snakes along her flesh. And she says, "You have brought this corruption upon me. You couldn't save me, and now you'll pay. Despair and doom are all that lie upon the Moonchase." She's gonna roll initiative. I don't know what everyone else's reaction are, but she is preparing to attack.
Who was she talking to? 'Cause I feel like
She's looking
talking.
directly at Mist.
Yep, talking to me
Sounds
personally.
like somebody has an external locus of control and needs to work on owning their own choices.
You don't sense that there's anything of Antola present at the moment. The last you saw of her, in fact, all of her words are kind of underscored by this growling, which you recognize as the presence of Calf, the figure
So
of
let you
shadow.
know, Corinne, homegirl wasn't like this before. Don't take it personally. She's going through some stuff.
Okay.
One of them being drowned in her own fountain.
Ah.
I hate it when that happens.
Uh-huh.
Okay, she rolls a 22 for
Woo!
initiative.
Veto.
Yikes.
Remember when we
So
all
she'll be going first.
initiative that one time? No?
Hey, I want to give someone advantage on their initiative.
Ooh, yeah. Don't
Uh,
look. Pick someone.
I don't know, Corin. I feel like you haven't done very much.
Oh, I had disadvantage, so that'll bump me up
Oh,
to the
good.
9 I rolled.
Oh,
I can.
Awesome.
Now you go.
All right. As Antola moves towards you, she takes about 10 steps forward and then begins to cast a spell. And as she does, you see flame streak across the inside of the barrow, and a wall of fire appears.
Oof.
Each of you, please make a dexterity saving throw. Oh, sorry, not each of you. It is only going to be a straight line, so we'll say it is. We'll call it Corin, Mist, and Bamba. It's going to be kind of like a diagonal.
Yes. 17.
And this is magical, obviously.
It is, yes, it's a spell.
What? Boo!
I know. I also rolled doubles.
Ugh.
Mine were.
8. Look at this flame. It's hot.
Yeah, the DC for this spell save is 17. Oof.
Oh, woo!
So if
Just
you
made it.
met the DC, it's going to be half damage. Let me give you the damage amount.
All right, everybody.
This tomb is on fire.
Thank you for that. I'll give you inspiration. Okay, it's only 15 fire damage, fairly low damage for this spell. So that's the full. It goes down to 7 if you succeeded on the DC 17 save. It is, however, opaque, so anyone who wants to move through it would repeat the saving throw. If you stay in it, you repeat the saving throw. Otherwise, the only avenue you can see to get around it is this way, over here by Corin. Currently, Michelle is the only one who can still see Antola.
Ceiling, can we go over it?
Oh, you can go over it, yeah. It's 10 feet high, but the ceiling is another 10 feet above that.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Mist.
I'm gonna step out of the fire.
Now, as a reminder, Antola, maybe you're getting flashbacks to Aaron and the opportunity to try to reclaim the person is here, I'm just saying.
I don't have the unicorn horn in my possession, so I will not accidentally stab anyone with it. It's fine. Instead, what I'm gonna do with my turn, is she probably has too many hit points for me to put her to sleep. But she probably does not have. It's irrelevant how many hit points she has. I'm just gonna give bless because I don't know what to do.
You're gonna bless her?
I know. I'm gonna bless.
Oh, your friends.
Karen and Michelle and Bamba and Corin and Michelle. I can't see Karen. Not that that matters, but I can't see you. So I can't see Corin and Bamba either, but I know they're there.
Okay.
Assuming
So
they
there's
haven't
your
perished.
action. Anything else
Yes.
for you?
Anything else for me? Bonus actions. I'm gonna call out to Mistra and ask her to save my friend, please. Thank you. Swing around my pendant, and then yell at Antola, "I don't want to hurt you. Please don't be like Aaron."
Make an insight check as you yell that.
Oh, sweet. 26.
Ooh, you see for a moment the darkness like flickers in her eyes, and there's a look of pleading behind it, and then it snaps back into place.
You see that,
Okay.
Michelle? Her eyes did something.
Michelle,
that's
your
it.
turn.
Michelle probably does see it. She's looking dead on, but she's gonna rage and she's gonna rush at her.
Okay.
I will say she will, her blows will be non-lethal with her mace.
Okay, great.
Okay. And she's going to say, in Aaron's name, and okay, so here we go mechanically. She's blessed, so that gives her advantage, but she also has this other stuff going on which gave her disadvantage, so she's a flat roll.
Well, the bless is you add a d4 to your roll, so you do still have
that's right.
disadvantage. But if you have inspiration, you could use that.
I'm going to. use
Okay.
inspiration on this roll. She is raging, and let me check that off.
You can also you can reckless attack while you're raging, which would give you advantage. So it's up to you how you want to go
Okay.
about it.
But it would be she would have to activate her rage as a bonus action, so the reckless would be on her next turn.
I
right?
got you. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I think it's on the first attack of your turn. So actually, you could.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just a thing you choose if you want to use it.
Okay.
No action.
All the things going on,
All good.
and the 5-hour energy has run out. So here we go. Here we go. All right. So she's reckless attacking, and I'm just trying to get it to check.
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry, on the Mac. Actions and combats. Okay. Action. Wait, bonus. There we go. Okay. No, attack. Here we go. All right. So it's still a disadvantage, but it's going to be a +4. So that's the first roll. That's the second roll. And then the D4. So much going on. All right. And here is the D4.
Those aren't great rolls, so.
No.
But
they're-
you get to add the D4 to every roll.
So 12 and 10.
Oh, those will both miss, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yes.
Your mace strikes her hide armor, and you're just pulling your punches too much. Maybe
you just didn't put your
Too
heart
gentle.
into it.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh, it's that despair.
gonna beat it all until it stops attacking me.
Okay,
Or
let's
until it
go
knocks
to.
me out.
Yeah, let's go to Karen.
Karen's going to bonus action gem flight, and spectral gem-like wings will come out from the back of her. So she'll fly up and over the firewall, so like over here. I can't command my Drake this round, but that's fine. And then I will use my inspiration and give myself advantage on my first attack. And I'll just look at her and be like, I know a manager when I see one.
Are
What
you?
incredible
Is this a
bat.
bow attack? Longbow?
This is a longbow attack. Yeah.
Okay, you can't do that non-lethally.
I'm aware.
Okay.
I was behind the firewall. I have no idea. What
Great.
he might be a friend. No, that was just all
A
fire.
17 does hit.
Ooh. I'll take that.
She is going to make a concentration check.
Yeah.
Aaron, no.
I'll do my. Yeah, I'm not gonna look at that. I rolled a 1 on damage, and then like let's see what my 2d6 does.
She maintains concentration on the firewall.
Total damage of 11.
Great.
Some of that is lightning, if you care.
That's awesome. Okay.
Second attack.
Second attack.
It's gonna miss. It's 12.
Yeah, 12 will miss.
All right, I finish my turn. Bye.
Okay, Corin.
All right, I'm going to step out of go as far as I can out of it towards her. And I'm going to cast. I think I'm going to cast Lightning Lure. Try and pull her towards me. So
Great.
they
She
must
makes,
succeed on a strength saving throw.
Okay, strength save is not her best. It's a 9.
Oh ho. Then she is pulled 10 feet in a straight line towards me.
Great.
And
Yeah, you
not
see her dragged. As she does, the voice of Kauth speaks through her. You shall not control me.
and I kind of stagger back from that, but I'm still holding it strong. She's not close enough for me to hit yet, so I will. That's the end of my turn.
Okay, Bamba.
I'm so torn. I have a couple of things I can do. I mean, the first thing I'm gonna do is movement. Get the heck out of the fire. I'm probably not flying anymore. My bees, they're tired. You know, they plopped me back down on the ground. Whew. Can I non-lethal with a short bow?
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay.
But you could try, you could try like a persuasion check, but obviously do what's in character.
I'm gonna sing.
Sing a
Okay.
song of persuasion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bust
make a
out that
performance
lute
check.
and sing the song about opening the door.
Beautiful. Okay, yeah,
You
go ahead
want
and make a
persuasion or
performance check.
It's the same.
Yeah, whichever you think applies best.
Performance, just because it sounds cooler.
Nice.
Plus, you know what? Just to make, because I think I still have bliss, which is
You're blessed.
1d4.
Okay, so your action
20.
allows you to make a roll for her to save against this influence. So if you'll just roll d20,
Okay.
she adds a 9.
Oh.
So 15, that is the DC. Suddenly, her eyes clear, and you see her flesh stops looking like writhing snakes of shadow, and her whole body expels this creature, and Calth like wails backward, expelled from the barrow.
Let the
And-
song open the door. Let the song open the door.
She's like, close, close! And she'll drop concentration on the wall of fire, and you see the spirit of Alirlian waves her arms, and the door of the tomb shuts. And Antola looks at the party, just with a look of apology and regret, and she says, "My friends, I'm so sorry for having attacked you. Please forgive me, and thank you. I was possessed by the spirit of the Shadowfell.
Yeah.
There's much that I should share with you
Yeah.
quickly." And she will gather you around, and you discuss further the lore of the Swan Maze, and how a new Swan may be created using the knowledge of the previous Swan May, whose ghost
Ah.
discusses all this with you. But that is a tale for another day. That's the conclusion of our adventure tonight.
It takes time to build a maze, after all.
Yeah, that.
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
You have made the first significant step forward in cleansing the Moonwells, and we will see how this progresses in the rest of the series. In the aftermath of your mission here, you're contacted again by Gorm Gudbranson from the Initiates of the Flame, and in our sort of Mission Impossible like way, he says, "I have another mission for some of you, if you are willing to take it. Something that will plunge you deep behind enemy lines." And that is the adventure that we will have next week. So tune in then. Thank you,
All
everyone,
right.
so much for playing. All of you, it was a great time. Thanks for those who donated to get Jasper's Game Day. So far, we have raised a rolling total of over $700. So thank you so much. It's very
Hey.
exciting.
Cool.
We're moving toward our goal of $750. So we should probably achieve that next time. Thank you all so much. That's really fantastic. Let's quickly just go around one more time if everyone has a minute, and we'll just share where people can find your work and what kind of stuff, if you want to mention anything that you're, that you want to promote, and then we'll say goodnight. So why don't we start with B?
Okay, the one with the longest and the most to say hello. I am B Zelda, your non-binary busy bee. You can find me on Twitter as @B_Zelda. In this community, I'm known as the community manager for D&D Adventurers League. But if you don't mind the sound of my voice, you can catch me on a handful of podcasts such as The Broadswords, Anime Attaché, 12-Sided Stories, One Shot Network, and Iron Edda Reforged. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed my performance in this game, I am also a TTRPG streamer. I stream just about every day of the week. You'll have to find my schedule to figure out when I do it, because I don't know. And finally, I do some other work, but honestly, just give me a follow online and join me on this fantastic TTRPG adventure where I get to play amazing games like this with fantastic people like this.
Yay, thank you so much. Ginny.
Hi. You can find me, of course, on the internet at Jenny Loveday for all of the things, including the YouTube. In fact, I'm still very proud of. That was a fight.
I do. I have a Twitch show every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern, where I interview creators about creations. I don't know. I didn't have an ending for that. And talk about design for TTRPG stuff. I also do writing and editing work for a bunch of various projects. I've got several coming up soon on the DMs Guild. The Ravenloft Mist Hunters Epic 2 should be out soon. And then sometime in the soon TM period after that, the epic that Andy and I wrote, Dreams of the Red Wizards Epic 4 will be coming out. And
Nice.
Then I also have a Kickstarter that I'm participating in that is coming up soon, Deep and Dangerous. And that is with Geeks Can't, I believe. They changed the name of their company. It was
Yeah,
Bite Size
yeah,
Gaming.
that's right.
And oh my gosh, thank you for the raid, everyone.
Hey, we got a
Um,
new raid right at the end. everyone.
And
We're just
I'll
wrapping
be
up.
at Gary Con for anyone who's gonna be there. And I love you, Mom. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Pass it to Sean.
Hey, I'm Sean Banerjee. I'm your non-binary Banerjee. It doesn't work as well as B's thing does. I am your non-binary rock person on the internet. You can find me most places at Sean Banerjee. SeanBanerjee.com has all my links. If you want to play something that I Frankenstein together, go check out D&D Adventures League DRW number 15, Frozen Whispers. It's a spooky good time. It'll take way longer than the estimated 4 hours. I kind of packed a lot into
All
that.
of the DRW ones do.
Yeah, that's what we were told to do. Greg said we had to. That's my excuse. But no, check out things that I do. Follow Twitter. That's where I usually announce what I'm doing. And come back next week on the 8th, where I'll do this again with this character again with, I think, Andy, unless, he's going to find an excuse not to play with me again. And I'll throw it over to Andy.
You can find me on Twitter at Andy Dempz, DEMPZ. You can find a lot of the things that I've written on the DMs Guild under my name, including in the Oracle of War campaign, the Moonshays Rising Shadows campaign, and some things coming out for the Dreams of the Red Wizards campaign that I can't wait for you to see, especially if you enjoy high level play. So good stuff. And then I'll pass it to Ayana.
Yes, I'm Ayana, and you can find several things that I've written on the DMs Guild, including as a part of the Mist Hunter series, revisiting the Amber Temple and the Curse of Strahd, which is a lot of fun to write. And I've also written some stuff for the Moonshays, and I'm so glad you all were able to join, and hopefully you'll be able to join next week. Thank you for having me.
Sean misspelled their website. Graham, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, I think that's everyone. Great. I'm Graham Ward, he, him, and you can find me as Dark Plane DM on Twitter. I'm a GM for hire, as well as running and playing in games on Ghostlight RPGs. I'm the content manager for this channel. So I've got my fingers in everything that you see here. Thank you all so much. You can also find me, obviously, if you've ever been in the D&D virtual weekends, I'm almost always running a whole slew of stuff. So thank you, everyone. Take a deep breath. Thanks, Sonder the man. And we will see you next time. We're sending you on a raid over to Roll20 app. So enjoy.
We be right.